Welcome to Cranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Cranky, and this is the Cranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Cranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Cranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Cranky Live Sports Talk.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. Thanks for those of you who have joined. Thanks for joining. Bless up Duras, Trey Moon. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And thanks for being here. Today should be a good show, actually. Today should be a good show. See me smiling. I have about 4 topics to talk about. So I hope everybody had a great weekend. And we can have some back and forth today, talking about 4 main things. Bless up Carl Topping. Thanks for being here. Yeah, World Travels. I remember the whole you traveling with a bunch of famous musicians, the Marleys, etc. So my memory is bad, but it's not that bad, actually, because we just had a conversation. So we're going to talk today about just some EPL update, because part of this whole program is to talk about more recent sports. So we'll go to the EPL update, and as part of that conversation, we will discuss some of the reggae boys who play in the EPL and how they performed over the weekend. Bless up, man of God, Julian Lakeman. Thanks for joining. We'll also talk about Raheem Sterling a little bit. He's having some challenges with Chelsea, so we'll delve into that. We'll talk about Greenwood. He's not in the EPL, and even though my thumbnail may suggest accordingly, I decided that I like the thumbnails. I just put it out and then have him as part of the whole construct of that thumbnail. And then last but not least, if I get to it, but I'm going to talk about it, there was a Gleaner editorial talking about McClaren's mandate, and McClaren obviously is a new coach / manager for the Reggae Boys. And it was an interesting editorial with a different number of components to it, and we'll go through it in detail because it'd be good to sort of decipher it, assess it, and provide our perspective. Bless up Ikaritz, Mesa, Julian, Conrad, thanks for joining. It'd be good to have a dialogue around that editorial, and one of my questions would be, there's some parts of the editorial I agree with. The other parts I disagree with vehemently, and I'll express that perspective. Because I do think the xenophobia in Jamaica permeates the entirety of the society. I seem like it's across all discipline, and I'm trying to grasp why. You can understand if it permeates a certain segment of society for certain specific reasons, but it seems to be endemic in the society. And I'll pull out what components of the article draw my ire and why I have indicated this. Warren Barnes said Democrats on the ticket tonight. Yeah, they have their convention tonight. Hopefully I can watch some segment of it. I have put my Balanced Views program on hold for a little bit. I have some juicy topic I'm going to talk about on there, but it's kind of hard given my busy schedule between this and some of the stuff I'm doing to really give it justice. But it's some meaty topic, people. Some topic to do with religion, with God I want to address. Some topic to do with fatherhood. What we call that, Jamaica? I'm going to call it parental guidance or lack thereof. DNA testing. Should you have DNA testing every time you have a kid? Enough topic I want to touch, which are juicy topics. But I want to have time to make sure I do my own research really, really well before we have the discussion. Child support payment, especially in the US, which having known some people going through it is a killer. No, we're not doing balance views tonight. We're not doing balance views tonight. Not doing it tonight. I don't have the time to do it. I have to watch Democratic Convention tonight, so we can't do it tonight. But but I would love to do it, to be honest. Let me touch upon EPL update. And we're going to go through EPL pretty quickly, people, because I think the Sterling, Greenwood, and boy, the editorial from the Gleaner is much more juicy. Anything that you want to talk about, actually? What do you mean rolling in 6-5, Webster? Elaborate. I'm not sure what that means. So just in terms of the games played this week, Friday night we had Manchester United beating Fulham 1-0. I didn't see a lot different from the Man U I saw last season. I know they have made some acquisition. They've bought a couple center backs. I know Delit didn't start. The other one, Euro, is injured. The kid who came on, what's his name, Xerxes, he scored in the last minute of the game, but it was and I know they have some Hoyland, others are injured, but it wasn't. They were the better team against Fulham, who have lost Polino. They have lost Bobby Reed, also a few players. Oh, Waterreed, okay. They've lost a few players, but I thought both it's almost like it's end of preseason, actually, the way they were playing. I wasn't overly impressed with either team. Now I hear you, Warren. 6-5 is an interesting timeline. 11 hours a day. So that means you work decent hours. Decent hours. I have never worked 9 to 5, people. And maybe people say they work 9 to 5, makes a laugh. I have never worked 9 to 5 in my life, ever. Now, some days I may leave work early, like in my last year. I would go in at 7 and leave at 4, but I've never been in that. First of all, I'm gonna digress a little bit for jump back to EPL. I hated, because I'm in New York, right? I hated going on a packed train. So I would go to work real early to get away from that traffic, because I used to take the train to work at one point. Then I started taking the express bus. But I hated going on packed vehicles. So I would leave my house 5 o'clock in the morning, get to work between 6 and 7. And depends on where I was working. Early in my career, it'd be going to work at, say, 7, getting home at 10, 11 at night, sometimes 6 days a week. So it used to be long hours. Anyway, those days are long gone. Those days, I wouldn't say long gone. They're gone now. I'm not doing those days anymore. But even doing this it's not 9 to 5. So anyway, so on Saturday, with a number of good games, the early game, I know Liverpool fans complain about this, but because you're popular, especially in Asia, you have to get up early to watch those games. And Ipswich gave a good account themselves in the first half, actually. And it was 0-0 at the end of the first half. I thought Liverpool was the better team, but Ipswich gave a good account themselves. I thought Amari Hutchinson played well. I heard some people playing that he had a difficult game. I didn't think so, actually. I thought he played well. I thought he showed himself. I thought he showed up. He seemed like he's gotten stronger. He seemed like he makes better decisions with the ball. He had one opportunity where I don't think the pass went to him. Probably should have gone much straight to the goal. And he didn't cut in, didn't get a good shut off. But I thought he played well, actually. Showed a lot of life. Was very, very lively. And I'm encouraged by his performance, because I'm envisioning him coming in the September window for the January 6th game against Cuba. Well, I'm envisioning him being called and him accepting that call, right? Because then it's going to be a cap. So we'll see whether or not he's trying to avoid cap, or if he's decided, you know what, I'm going to come. Because I heard, obviously, before that, part of the reason why he didn't come for a number of the windows he was called is because of the previous coach. So we'll see what transpires. But obviously, Liverpool turned on second half. First half, they seemed to be cruising, getting up to speed. Second half, they were in another gear, and it wasn't close. They ripped Ipswich apart and should have scored more goals, actually. Had good chances. Then Arsenal against Wolves, I didn't think we were that great, actually. We were the better team. I think Raya pulled off one excellent save and one good save. Bless up John Powell, thanks for joining. Bless up Duckland. But I didn't think we were great. And I'm still not convinced about Havertz being the 9, even though he seems like he's the 9 nowadays. Yeah, gaming. I'm going to just call you gaming. I Look, they paid what, almost 20 million pounds for him. People give different numbers, 18 million, 22 million, whatever the number is. So they spent a lot of money that they probably couldn't afford because he played well for them last year to buy him from Chelsea, even though he was groomed at Arsenal. And went to Chelsea on a free because Arteta doesn't play academy players. So players are now leaving in droves because they know we're not going to play them. But no, I thought he played well, actually. And hopefully he comes for the next window. Yeah, I didn't think we played well, Juros. I thought we we played decent, but I wasn't impressed with our ability to create chances. We scored 2 goals. One, the cross by Saka to Havertz, and then a very good goal by Saka. Gonna say we need 2 wingers. We need a center forward. We need a right winger. And Martinelli needs to step up, or else he's going to be on the bench. And Trossard is not a winger, so I'm not sure that's going to work. So, yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens as we have a big game against Villa on Saturday midday U.S. time, Saturday night, or I should say afternoon U.S. time, Saturday night in England. And Villa beat us twice last year, both at their place and our place. So. We keep saying Emery's better than Arteta, so we'll see. So I think we have to play better though. We're gonna get the new number 8. He won't be playing against Saturday, but I'll be curious to see what happened with our team because Partey's now playing the 6. Rice is the 8. Rice was not. I don't know where Rice was on Saturday. I didn't think he played that well. He wasn't visible. Not that he played badly. He wasn't visible. So he's not really an 8 because he doesn't make penetrative passes. He can carry the ball. So we'll see what happens. Estavo, did he get injured? I'm not sure who you're talking about, Conrad. Elaborate. I'm not sure who you're talking about. And Brandon said, hoping for still a game for Bailey. Well, I think we're going to play either Timber or Califleur against Bailey. So he won't have Zinchenko to play against, where you can have your way, because Zinchenko can't defend himself. He's like Alexander-Arnold, can't defend, but brilliant going forward. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be Califleur or Timber playing against Bailey. It will not be, no way he plays Zinchenko. No, Rice didn't turn up, Juros, on Saturday. He didn't turn up. Gaming saying, if Hutchinson no come this time, he said, excuse himself for look, no come cause him excuse career. Sure, I have nothing to worry about. No. He has no excuses about, well, I'm trying to settle myself. I'm trying to do this. He's settled. So we should expect him to come. I think he will come, actually. That's my guess. So we'll see what happens. Everton, Brighton. Everton had a tough time last season. Twice points deducted. I think they had one chance in this game. Brighton is Brighton. They make a lot of money. It's buy players young. They sell them on, but do a much better job. Chelsea is doing it, but they have no idea how to do it. Brighton is showing them the way. Newcastle, who are down to 10 men early enough in the game, still came out against Southampton by 1-0. And Newcastle is an interesting season for Newcastle because they made Premier League the year before, didn't make it this year, have money problems. Well, they don't have any money problems. They have FFP problems because their owners are filthy rich, but they have problems trying to conform to the financial requirements in the Premier League because they have spent quite a bit in their early period. So we'll see what happens. Jura said, Warren, why in God's name would you be a Spurs reporter? Juras, everybody can be a Man U reporter, supported on Juras. People have different views on different teams. Just Spurs fan, I have nothing but the Arsenal trusty start. Hope them take that into in. Spurs. When we get to Spurs, we get to Spurs. I love Spurs supporters, by the way. You know what I think, people? I think YouTube is actually helping to better the relationships between Spurs fans and Arsenal fans, even between rivalries, because sometimes people used to hate each other if you think about some of these supporters. But because you have people like Robbie and Expression and them buddy up, even though they support different team, I think he's toned down the rhetoric and he's toned down the animosity between the fans actually somewhat. Still have it. Still difficult when you go to certain games, you feel intimidated. But I think YouTube is helping that because they're showing people that you can be rivals but still have a relationship. Nottingham Forest Bournemouth was 1-1. Nottingham Forest was leading for a while. Wood scored. Nottingham Forest is looking at Nketiah as a possible solution for them. Both they and Palace, actually. And I skipped this. Both they and Palace, but we want 30 mil. They don't want to give us 30 mil. If Skip goes for 25 million, right? Skip just got sold for 25 million. Then, and Skip wasn't a regular at Tottenham. Why shouldn't we get 30 million for Nketiah, who scored a hat-trick in the game, scored 5 goals last season, is a forward, which is a premium. We shouldn't take less than 30. West Ham Villa. It's an interesting game. Villa scored. West Ham came back. I thought Antonio did his normal running around. Wasn't exemplary. Played decent. Probably give him a 6. And he, was there as usual. I thought West Ham played decent in the game, but I thought Villa were the better team. And bless up Owen. Villa was a better team and came out on top. And we'll see what it's like when we play them on Saturday. They didn't lose Diaby, and they lose Douglas Luiz. Well, I'm surprised they sold because we're trying to buy him, but we should see how it goes. Nah, if you're selling Hutchinson for almost 20 G, Drew Ross, Hutchinson was not proven in the Premier League. At least Nketiah is proven in the Premier League. You're selling Skip. Anybody know who Skip is? I believe for Tottenham. I think he's going to Leicester for 25 mil. You're selling, what's his name? Went from Leicester to Chelsea. His name is skipping me now. For over 30 mil. Why shouldn't Nketiah goes for 30 mil? Then we keep him. People need forwards, especially forwards who are mobile and can score goals. There's no way, and he's English too, which is a 10 million premium. There's no Nketiah should go for less than 30 mil. We give away too many players. In fact, we gave Leno to Fulham for like 10 million. It's a joke, and he's a starter for them on a regular basis. I don't think that should happen. Then on Sunday, we had Crystal Palace Brentford. It's a good game. Ivan Toney didn't play. I think Tony's probably going to end up in Saudi Arabia. By the way, Tony, I was thinking about this the other day, people, which is around Tony, which is for Tony. I'm wondering if he has any money. When you gamble, when you have so much bet as he did, he needs to get as much money as possible. He's probably still got gambling debts. I never hear anybody bring that up. But if you made over 200 bets, and most times if you gamble, you're gonna lose, right? Because the house ain't losing. He may owe people money, so he should go to Saudi Arabia and get as much money as he can. Because I think he wants 200K plus, and that's why he's probably not getting any interest. He would be better than what we have at Arsenal, but the problem is he's not the most mobile forward who can press, but he's a brilliant hold-up player. He can shoot with either foot. He's good in the air, but he doesn't press, which makes it difficult for him to be at Arsenal. So, gaming said midfield choice, he can do very well, but them just need for that final touch. But if them can't win the league, gaming, you should stop drinking. It's too early. It's like 6:18. Win the league. Which league you talking about? Come on, gaming. They ain't winning no league. Let's go to Chelsea, Man City. I thought Chelsea played well. People saying Chelsea played. No, I thought they played well. I think Jackson is too raw to be their center forward. Chelsea has 41 players, people. Like, that's ridiculous. 41 players registered. That is crazy. And now they're trying to sell all the English players, the Chalobahs of the world, the Gallaghers of the world, because they're pure profit. They get 25 for Chalobah. I don't think it's worth 20. People, if you're pricing Chalobah 25, why shouldn't Nketiah go for 30? And then they want Gallagher supposed to be going to Atletico Madrid and is going around in circle. Have the kid in a hotel for 3 weeks. Sterling didn't make the squad. They have Neto they bought on the left. They have Nkunku playing another position. So let me talk about that game, people, because it's very interesting to me. That's why sometimes people talk about YouTubers and know football. Me know this, people. The manager made no sense to me with the game against City. I'm gonna say what gaming says. Gaming, we like now in the future for them fixing the problem. No, they'll be better, and I would love to play them now. I would love to play them now because gaming they are gonna get much better. It's not gonna be good to play Chelsea if they get it right by mid-year, but it's gonna be growing pains for them. DC saying, why Tony got captain for England end up in Saudi Arabia? Look, I think some players don't have any affiliation with Jamaica at all. Part of it is Jamaican fathers who are, we won't get into that tonight, but no fun only if you do better. Now the kid them and them no. Or I'm not saying that the case of Tony, but I'm saying it's a case for a number of Premier League players that I've heard about. So, and some people go to England people. It's not like the US, where it's right next door and the US pays really well. So people can come here and be a carpenter, become a millionaire. I'll come a carpenter and I'll drive van and do really, really well. People in England don't do that well. A lot of them. Don't make people fool them. I've lived in the UK more than once. A lot of them don't do well. So they can't afford to spend no $1,000, $2,000 to come out to Jamaica, come vacation, right? Or send their kids to Jamaica to vacation, like Mikel Antonio would say that he would go back every summer. His mom took him. That means his mom has some change. Flight is long, it's expensive, so they have no association. So ask the kid into, because you're Jamaican heritage, to play for Jamaica, and they would prefer one cap for England than play for Jamaica. They don't have no connection. Plus, people like the Gleaner and the coach of Jamaica, they don't want the players them anyway. So why should they even go stretch themselves to get backlash about they just want international cap? That's why they can play for Jamaica. And some of them would prefer not to even come. Just, you know what? I don't need the hassle. But anyway, we'll get into the Gleaner as we get to that. The Gleaner discussion. Carl is saying, let me just put this up. Carl is saying, Whisper is going to suffer at Chelsea, but Butler made the wrong decision. I think I said that from day one, which is it's not always about the short-term money. It's about the long-term prospects. You need really good advisor in your camp who's focused on you and your development and your growth and your potential and what you can be and where you're going versus, you know what? I'm going to take the money and run. That's my view on that. I've said this from day one. Newcastle had gaps in their team. Almiron is playing out wide. They did buy Harvey Barnes on the left with Gordon, but he had more chance against the Newcastle team. One time Newcastle played how much young kids at the end of the season, probably got a couple of games. Newcastle was the better situation to go into. You can always go Chelsea later if you did really, really well and now you're a star and a guaranteed starter like Neto will be. But you can't go there so young when they have a history of buying a ton of young players. They bought Sarr, who was young, like 22, 23, defender from France. I think they forgot they had Sarr in their books. Is the other day they probably gave him away to somebody in France. He was there for like three years. They have players they have no idea. They have been on loan for 5, 6, 7 times. So why would you put them to Chelsea? They may be giving you more money because they spend a lot of money, but it's not the right move. So you have to have advisors who are focused on you and your development and your growth and the best situation for you. And you may have to start smaller and get bigger versus jumping right into the highest level and then you get lost. Not saying that would happen to the kid, but there's more chance of that happening than not happening. And I didn't think that decision made sense. I said it at the time. I didn't think it made sense. I didn't think it was the right move. It sounded good and people in Jamaica got excited. Kids at Chelsea. Well, what's that Chelsea doing? Chelsea ain't thinking about no kid. Chelsea's a very interesting organization that is doing things which are interesting, actually. Now, the thing about Chelsea, which is interesting is, and we'll get to that a little bit, is I'm still trying to find out what they're trying to accomplish with what they're doing. All right? I'm still trying to find it out. Let me touch upon some of these comments. Gaming saying, feel England call up Tony calls them. Sorry if he calls them. Nah. They call him up because they want to cap him, but I think he would add value. He had value in the Euro. Kane is going to be, look, that's why I'm thinking about advisors. So your agent, people understand this, people. So I'm going to touch upon something and touch on toes, but you know how I am. I don't mind touching toes. So there was one player for Jamaica who says, who got called up for Jamaica, as we know, didn't go for the call up. I said Jamaica can't do nothing for them. And I'll get to that with Michelle Will Pandis enough. Somebody said this. So we need to understand from Ono what Jamaica can do for some of these players that come play for Jamaica and get the grief they get. Me want to understand that. Now for Tony, most time it's the agents that's restricting some of these players from playing for Jamaica. Some want to come in, but the agents are saying, look, you get a call up for England. Here's the potential: sponsorship deal, notoriety, recognition, opportunities. Jamaica don't make World Cup. Jamaica doesn't win Copa. Jamaica doesn't win the Gold Cup. If you get into the England squad, your name is in lights out there. Why wouldn't you want to do that and try to enhance your brand and enhance your financial situation? So 1 cap for England could be worth 20 cap, 30 cap for Jamaica from a monetary standpoint. Probably much more than that, actually. So that's some reason why players don't come, because the agent, even more than the parents, are saying it's not the right move financially. You shouldn't do that. It doesn't make sense. And people sometimes don't appreciate that. And I've always said this. Players got to think about themselves first and everything else second. Nobody convince you otherwise. Perfect example is Chelsea players. Does anybody at Chelsea give a darn about Raheem Sterling or Gallagher or Chalobah or all those players that are now can't even get into the squad, or Chilwell? They don't care. The fans just want to win. If Chelsea win, they're all happy. They don't care about any player and what their situation is. None. So players got to think about what's best for them and don't let anybody convince them otherwise. I'm big on that. Yeah, he probably would have been. Well, he still has his injury, Drew Ross, but he'd have been closer to the first team than he is now, because right now, there's 41 players in front of him. And that's not counting people in the academy who may be rated ahead of him. We're talking about 41 in the squad for Chelsea. Forget about the academy, and he's in the academy. And we don't know where he's ranking in the academy. And by the way, people, where he plays, it's full. Right? They have about 5 wingers, if you're going to add Sterling in the mix. Right? And they are better than him at this point. Better than him. And you only have 2 positions there. And they're playing Nkungu out wide too, so that makes it 6. And by the way, let me touch upon that. Let's go to the Chelsea game. First of all, when you watch a game, sometimes you watch managers, you wonder what the heck are they seeing that you're not seeing? What are you not getting that they're getting? What does that mean? So they had Fernandes as the captain, and he was awful throughout the game. Awful. They're playing Nkungu on the left wide. He's not a wide player. He started PSG as a 8. We almost get him. We almost thought about going after him when he was playing the 8. Then he was playing center forward. Then he played the 10. He's not a wide player in the traditional sense, and he showed it. And instead of the manager taking off, when he made the change and take off Nkungu, to me that was a dumb change. Dumb change. Why? Because we had Lavia and Caicedo playing that sort of double pivot, Caicedo playing the 8 sometimes, right? And you had Fernandes playing like the 10. He can't play 10. He was clueless, miscontrolling ball, can't make a pass between the lines, can't recover, slow as hell, 105 million pounds wasted. Instead of him putting Nkungu in the 10 and then putting on Neto out wide, which give them more versatility, more speed out wide, Nkungu, who does really well between the lines, in the 10. No, he didn't do that. I have no idea what he was doing. So, Marisco, your first game, I wasn't impressed with your decision-making. I thought it was awful. And they could have won the game. And then they have Jackson up front, who's just got footballing ability. But you ever hear this term, don't have a footballing brain? Don't see it. And maybe I'm being harsh in my judgment. I don't see the footballing brain. It's not obvious yet. Why gaming have enough comments to that, Cranky? You know, my players are not too low. Want to buy every player from the league. Yeah. Well, so let me touch on that, people. Let me touch upon that. And by the way, I thought Chelsea played decent in that game. I think Man City was not their best. And people say they're missing players. I don't think they were missing too many players. They're missing Rodri, but who else were they missing that would have played? Maybe John Stone, but it wouldn't make much of a difference who they had. The kid at right back, what's his name, played really well, the youngster from the academy. And Aki was on the bench, but Guardiola was going to play a lot of games. So I thought the wingers they had, Doku and Savino, were ridiculous. Doku needs to learn how to make decisions. Doku's decision making is worse than Cephas. Boy, I tell you. Doku can roast you until he gets to the 18-yard box, and then he has no idea what to do. One time he beat 3 men over the left line, go in the box, before he kick the ball in the goal, he's trying to cross the ball back where there's nobody to cross the ball to. And Savino, before he got hurt, was roasting Cucurella, roasting him. And I'm thinking, why didn't we see this player? Why is Man City getting this player? He was unguardable, basically. I'm using a basketball term. Or unmarkable, what you want to call it. Could not be marked in that game. So those 2 wingers. And by the way, people, we keep talking about players who are overpriced, overrated. Where's Grealish? I think he was on the bench. The most overrated £100 million player in the history of football. I'm going to do and they're beating Sterling. We're going to do the Sterling Grealish comparison because it's important. Crazy people, crazy. I wonder why we have 50 likes on 80. See, people, the first time I mentioned this, and we are what? 30 minutes into the program. 50 likes on 80 watching. I don't know. I guess stingy as usual. Warren is saying, everything as Jamaicans, we find it hard to deal with the truth when people like myself say Whisper needs a lot of work for me get beaten. To watch players play game by. No, Whisper. First of all, Whisper is only an offensive player. And they play Premier League, got to play both ways. That's why Martinelli always get game for Arsenal because he runs back and defends. Whisper is lost defensively. Whisper have a lot of ability, right? A lot of offensive skill, good shot, left foot, no right foot, can beat a man. But his game needs a lot of work. He has ability, and I think he'll go well if he gets good advice, which is also something which is up in the air for me. But I think he has ability and will do well. He just needs to look, if Chelsea decided to take him, they must have watched him played and decided that he has a potential, right? And he probably played practice game with them in practice. So they see enough to give him a contract. But he has a lot to work on. And he'll get better. The kid is young. He's not even 20 yet. He has a lot of time. But he should probably try to get one on loan because that's why Omari Hutchinson took charge of his own career. When Arteta didn't want to play him, he let him go to Chelsea. While Chelsea didn't want to play him, he probably pushed to go on loan. He went to Ipswich and proved himself. Now he's in the Premier League. And if he does well at Ipswich, he'll get a bigger payday and a bigger team to go to, but he will be getting game time and learning his craft at the highest level, which is important. It's an imperative. Yeah, me say me feel them could me find it hard to reach a pathway now, but me I try. I feel so them could beat a City, but Jack's not the worst player in the box. He didn't take too long for shoot, or him don't know if he do with the ball when him in front of the goal. Worst striker ever. No, I don't think he's the worst striker ever. I think look, he has ability. He has ability. But he's raw, and he needs to put on he needs to get stronger. He's raw, and his decision making is poor. Like I said, he make decision like how Cephas make decision. Need to work on it. There's some aspect of your game sometimes you need to work on, and for him, he needs to work on his decision making. When to pass, when to shoot, when to move. All those things are important, and it's not when to pass. It's passing at the right pace to the right person. Your head always, especially in the Premier League where it's unforgiving, your head got to be on a swivel. And sometimes certain players are not on a swivel. So they struggle when they get the ball. And you see sometimes in games, Doku is perfect. Because he's always beating people, maybe his head is down a lot. I don't think he observes as quickly as he should what is in his surrounding before he makes decision. Because no two people can mark Doku. No two people. You need 3 people to mark the kid. His turns and his stops are ridiculous. And his speed from 0 to 60 is crazy. So as a defender, he can slow you down and speed up. And by the time he slows you down and you stop, he's gone. Nah, I don't agree with Declan. The kid is Declan, what are you talking about? The kid is a teenager. He's not 20 yet, is he? I think he's just almost 20, right? Nah, he's got a lot of time. He's got time. His career's not dead. Well, maybe at Chelsea's dead, but it's not dead in terms of football. I think it's going to be tough for him to get into Chelsea team. Chelsea is just... So let me talk about Chelsea a little bit, people. So I listen to TalkSport. Well, I used to listen to TalkSport a lot. Not as much as I used to. And I heard Graham Souness, who was a big-time manager and footballer, played for Liverpool and played in Italy and all over the place. He and Simon Jordan are always arguing about something. Simon thinks he didn't know all about everything and anything, politics, football, and he's a smart guy, right? But his one fault is this. He believed guys who are venture capitalists. Those are people who may buy and sell companies or invest in private companies or invest in public companies and who have a lot of money are always going to make the right decision when it comes to financial situation. And my problem with Jordan is that a lot of people in life make decisions which may not necessarily work out, even the smartest ones, even if they're venture capitalists. And I know he had his own football team and he lost it. So sometimes I hear him talk after laugh and say, "You did lose your football team." But he made a lot of money when he was like 30. He was a multimillionaire at 30. Now he's in his 50s. But he always thinks venture capitalists know what they're doing and always make the right decision. And he's not right. Venture capitalists bought Sears and they went bankrupt. Venture capitalists make decisions sometimes which don't work out well. What Todd Bowley is doing, I don't get the strategy, to be honest. I thought initially I got the strategy, which is I buy young, I give them long-term contract because I'm very comfortable with their potential. I then can amortize, which is if I buy him for 100 million over 10 years, only 10 million count against my expenses for the year. So therefore, I can play this game with my FFP rules for a period of time and manage it really well. And if the player wants to leave, then I have them long-term. I get the most money for them because they're locked up. They're not going to the last year contract like you see Alexander-Arnold doing, or you see Van Dijk doing, or you see Ivan Toney doing when their fee have to get reduced because then they're last year of the contract. I can get the most money for them if they're in long-term deals. The problem you have with that concept is, first of all, the potential may not become reality. The potential is what you can be. Second of all, the players are normally on high wages, and most people nowadays can't digest high wages. That's why Sterling going to struggle to leave Chelsea because he's making about $350 a year. Ain't nobody paying $350 a year. You'll only get that in Saudi Arabia in today's football market. The rules may change about FFP, which then put you in a hole because you're doing it based on current rules, and those rules may change. So there's a lot of reasons as to why it may not work out really well and why you may be challenged when you give people these long-term contracts. And the question is, some players may not be motivated when they have such long-term contracts because you know what? You have to pay them or pay them off for them to leave. Or you may in a situation now where you have a new manager who wants a different player with a different style of play and a different way of playing and have different attributes, but you have to get rid of those players and you can't get rid of them because nobody want to pay their wages and they don't want to reduce their wages to make the transition. So I'm still trying to figure out what, and I hear Simon Jordan defending Bowley all the time, and Soundness is saying, doesn't make sense to me. They're a mess. And he's saying they're not a mess. And he's trying to, but he can't articulate why they're not a mess with what they're doing because it's not very obvious. Now, I will say this, a lot of those guys are brilliant people. That's how they've made a lot of money and they have a strategy. But to be honest, I don't know what the strategy is. So still trying to figure it out. And maybe I'm not that smart. I have no idea what the strategy is because they seem to be all over the place. 41 players, 41 doesn't go into 25. Or the number is, right? You can only have 20 on match day. You can only have like say 25, 25, whatever numbers in your squad. How is that going to work? And if you're buying very good players all the time, then the 21 that's out the squad for that match day are going to be unhappy. So you're going to go sell a bunch of them. So I have no idea what they're going to be doing. It's crazy. Nigel saying, what Chelsea is doing does not make any financial sense, which raises question for financial regulators to look at, not just the EPL. No. Look, if you make the money, I would love to see their numbers because I think they have. If they're doing what they're doing, Nitro, then what they've done is they've taken their financial statements, they have worked out their numbers. Some of it may be dependent upon them making certain sales, like they do with Gallagher. But they bought what's his name from Leicester for 37 million. Want to sell Gallagher for 37 million. Gallagher played 37 games last year. Was their captain. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And he's better than who they bought. What's the kid they bought from Leicester? Drew something. What's his name? Can't remember his name. It doesn't make any sense. Bless up, Tony. Hey, Tony, how you doing? I'm here talking EPL, Tony, and I'm trying to figure out Chelsea's strategy. And that Simon Jordan always seems to be defending them, even though he can't articulate their strategy. I'm not saying the strategy is foolhardy because it's not being explained, but on the surface, it doesn't look smart. But I know those guys are very, very smart people because most venture capitalists are. Most successful venture capitalists are. Dewsbury Hall. Thanks, Tony. Is Dewsbury Hall better than Gallagher? Don't they play similar position? I know Maresca worked with Dewsbury Hall when he was at Leicester, but I don't understand the concept. If it's that you want to, and maybe the concept is this. I think part of that whole transaction is this. Why they bought Dewsbury Hall and why they want to sell Gallagher. So if they buy Dewsbury Hall for say £30 million, 30-something million pounds, and say you get a 7-year contract. So that's $5 million a year go towards the expenses. If they sell Gallagher for 37 million, all 30-something million goes against the profit. So you imagine £5 million against 30-something million pounds, they still have 30 million net profit from that, right? That's the concept. And that's why that's why they sold Mason Mount last year for 50 mil. It all goes against the bottom line. That's how they can stay in line with FFP. So if they bought Mudryk for 100 million or 87 million. They gave him a 10-year contract. Only 8.7 million goes against the 50 million for Mount, for example. So they still have 42,300,000 in their pocket as net profit to match against another sale they're going to be doing. So they could buy 5 players. They could buy 5 players for 500 million pounds, right? Give them 5-year contracts. So 100 million goes against their expenses. If they sell Mason Mount for 50 million, that's all profit. If they sell Havertz for 60, and Havertz only had 4 years left in the contract, then it's another 15 million, so that's 65 million. That's how it works, people. They can work it out. It's not overly complex, and that's why they can get away with it. At some point, we catch up with them. If they don't have a lot of academy players to sell, because they're running out of academy players to sell to get all the profit at once, it will catch up with them at some point, but it ain't today or tomorrow. They might wash money. I wouldn't call it wash money. It's legal. They're not doing anything illegal, people. People think they're doing illegal. So that's when they want to sell Chalobah. If Chalobah is 25 mil, if Gallagher is 30 mil, that's 50-something million of pure profit because academy players have no costs associated with them. And they can go buy 4 or 5 players for 200 million, give them 10-year contract, and it's probably still make a profit. That's how the accounting works. And that's why they do what they do. So it's interesting, which we're going to go to some of the problems that this runs into, right? So Raheem Sterling did not make the matchday squad. No, Nitro, it's accounting. It's fine. There's nothing illegal about it. Trust me. It's all good. People just think it is now. It's how it works. There's global accounting standards. They're in accordance with those standards. They're not doing anything illegal. They're just doing it. They're just trying to show they're smarter than everybody else. And sometimes when you try to do that, it catches up with you. So Sterling, who by the way was born in Jamaica, as we all know, but plays for England. Sterling was not in the matchday squad. And he did something which is frowned upon by a lot of people. So the only people who agree with this statement, so he put his representative, I assume with his approval, put out a statement. So Sterling played all the preseason game, right? Most of them, 6 of them, I think he played. He's had a tough 2 years at Chelsea. And we'll go over his stats a little bit, given his Man U tenure and what he did at Man U. No, sorry. His Liverpool tenure and his Man City tenure. And he's been at Chelsea for 2 years now. It hasn't gone well. And he's making 350. And he hasn't produced based on what he's making, which is how people judge you. Right? You mean in terms of the Nitro? I assume you're talking about how much they pay out of pocket. But if you have Haaland making 500,000 a year or 600,000, De Bruyne making the same, then yeah, if you add up Chelsea number who are 21 years old, they're gonna be less. Oh, you mean it's the squad value? Oh, you mean in terms of not compensation, but the squad? Yeah, well, Man City has Haaland, who's probably worth about 200 mil, right? So it's hard to do comparison. But let's go over Sterling's statement by his representative. It says, Raheem Sterling is contracted to Chelsea Football Club for the next 3 years. He returned to England 2 weeks early to conduct individual training and has had a positive preseason under the new coach, who has developed a good working relationship with. I hate when people finish sentences with. Sorry, people. There's those things that grieve me. It's like you're putting a knife in my skin and turn it. Don't finish a sentence with and then with. Anyway, maybe I'm old school. He's committed as ever to delivering at the highest level for Chelsea FC and the fans, who he holds in high regard, and given his inclusion in official club pre-match material this week, our expectation was that Raheem would be involved in this weekend's fixture in some capacity. As a camp, we have always had positive dialogue with and assurance from Chelsea FC in relation to Raheem's future at the club. So we look forward to gaining clarity on the situation. Until then, we'll continue to support Raheem's desire to start the new season positively. So people, this is what you do when you're saying, look, I know it ain't going to work out, and we want to leave, but you need to pay me to leave. That's what this is saying. Nobody puts this out. You could easily have gone to Chelsea Football Club and have a discussion behind closed doors. This is saying, I'm not happy. Somebody come and get me. I want to leave here, but I ain't leaving until you pay me because I know you want to get rid of me. Because I didn't come on the Maresco. I came during the Bowley regime, but I was one of the early person acquired. Palmer came from Man City, hitting the ball off the cover. You're not. And Sterling is saying, I want to play football. I've made all the necessary preparation to have a good season. I've been playing since I was 16 at Liverpool starting. Yes, I've gone on the bench for Man City a few times, but most times I'm a starter. I'm not even in the squad with a bunch of 21 years old for a team which is not even the top 4 in each league. This is not happening to me. I'm an international. I was an international. So I want to leave. That's how I read the statement. Now, he's gotten bashed by, there's almost consensus bashing, apart from certain people you see on YouTube who basically saying, and more junior people who are basically saying, he's been treated horribly. So is Chalobah, so is Gallagher, all those people, so is Chilwell. So why shouldn't he come on and say what he says? Right? Is it a smart move? Only time will tell. Will it force the people's hand? I don't know. Sterling is in a bind, people. He's in a bind. Nitro said, sounds like Sterling would join the Greys on Jamaica from Allport Backside Companies. He doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. I think he had a chance to go. I think they're trying to get him early, and he decided not to. He didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia, right? No, look, when you make 350, that's Saudi Arabia type money. This is not. Ain't a lot of people in the Premier League making 350. Maybe him, some City players, Rashford probably. I don't know what Fernandes from Man U new deal is. Nobody's Arsenal is making 350. I think Havertz is our highest paid player, and he makes under 300. I think both he and Saka may make two plus. Ain't nobody at Arsenal making 300. So he's probably the highest paid player at Chelsea. I'm sure they're trying to bring down their wage bill. I'm sure they're saying the production doesn't reflect his compensation, and they want to get rid of him. But that's what happens when you buy players and give them. Now he doesn't. He only has 3 years left, so he only got a 5-year contract. He doesn't have the Mudryk type 8-year contract, right? But at 350 a week, what's that about? 17.5 or almost 18 million a year. Now I heard on Stocksport they say he's owed 70 mil. I think he's owed 50 something mil. That's what I calculated as. I know Talksport. I think Jim White said it was 70 mil. I don't think so. If you have 3 years left on your contract at 350, unless they're paying him 400, and even at 400 at 3 years, it would be about 60 mil. But anyway, whatever it is, a big number, big number. So the question for Chelsea is, what the heck do you do? What do you do with a player who your manager is saying, for technical reasons, meaning he couldn't make this team, even though if you look at the squad they put out, he could have made the team. They had a winger who plays on the right, and Sterling can play either way. First of all, he should have played Sterling out wide to start the game and played Nkunku in the 10 and bench Fernandes, who, by the way, was made captain. And he was asked a question, and he was giving some crappy answer. Fernandes in his racist video should not have started the game. What punishment did they give Fernandes for that racist video he had when Argentina win the Copa? They made him captain. That was his punishment. And he was awful. And he played the entire game. Manager should be fired for that. Crazy. Nigel said, former Albert guys are making great money. No, he's making 350. What are they going to pay him? I think he should stay where he is and see what happens over the next 3 or 4 games. I don't think he should come up with that statement. I think if you go behind closed door and it's not working, then you say, you know what? I got to push to leave and I got to figure out how to leave and then strategize. But this didn't make him, he's not going to get any public sympathy because he's not producing at the level, even though he scored 10 goals last season in our competition. But when you make 350, you ain't get no sympathy. People are going to say, you know what? Suck it up. But for a footballer who's rich, it's not all about the money anymore. It's about me being happy, enjoying the game. So it becomes tough for him. They only give him the captain ban. Gaming is saying they only gave Fernandes the captain harm ban to make him look good. Cause me surprised by him this. Yeah, I mean, I don't make him look good. He's saying he's one of the more senior players. He's a voice in the locker room. He's not been good for Chelsea. He's been ordinary. He hasn't been better than Gallagher. He hasn't been better than any of the Chelsea players, period. None of the Chelsea players. He hasn't been better than Sterling, seriously. Fernandes has been poor. He's the most, he and Grealish are the two most players who have spent 100 million for. It's waste of money. Waste of money. Yeah, no, look, sometimes some coaches don't fancy certain players, right? That's what it is. Sometimes that's how it is. New coach come in, don't like your game, and you may have been a favorite of the previous coach, and it happens. You just got to get on with it. And I think Sterling has to get on with it. The coach doesn't want him. He doesn't like him. He doesn't, it's some people treat Sterling, though, like he can't play football, people. Like, that makes no sense to me. They treat Sterling like he's not a good footballer, which is amazing to me given his record. Now, it's always important, people. And I hear Simon Jordan doesn't rate Sterling at all, by the way. And he's part of the problem because he has a voice and he has a radio show. So this is Sterling. Tell me if you guys can see this. Sterling record. And if you guys can see this, and I'm trying to widen here, it's not moving. Sterling has played I'm going to call it up if you can't see it because I'm trying to spread it out. It's not spreading out. He's played 379 games, right? In the Premier League. That is ridiculous, people. Over what, a 13-year career, I think it is, 2011 to now? 379 games. He has 187 goals contribution. Between assists and goals, right? So if you divide 379 by 187, which I'm doing now. Well, no, this is not right. I put my thing and I realized that it's not right what come out. So let me just do this again. So he has a goal contribution. Why is my calculator not working right? Because I know this is not right. He has a goal contribution every 2 games, right? Which is brilliant for a winger. It's only people like the Mo Salahs have better contribution. He scored 123 Premier League goals. Which, if you look at the list of goals, that tied with people like Dwight York, people. And Dwight York was a center forward. He started at 16. That means he must be a good player. And those want to say, well, he was at Man City. That's why he's scoring his goals and getting feet service. Why is Grealish not scoring other goals? He's at Man City. He's been there this is his 3rd season. Why is he not scoring any goals? Is he scored more than 10 goals in a given season yet? And he's gone for 100 million. Sterling went there when he was after Liverpool. He went to Liverpool at 16. Went to City about 3 years later. They bought him for a reason for 50-something million pounds. So if you score 123 goals in Premier League, you're up there as one of the top goal scorers, especially as a winger. Only people like Mo Salah, maybe you have a better record. Mo Salah's record is like ridiculous. But if you have a goal contribution every 2 games, the people like Ryan Giggs don't have that. Go look at Ryan Giggs' record and he gets all this laudatory and he played all these years. His contribution, his goal contribution between assists and goals is in the Premier League, and he's played 379 game, people. And he's only 29 years old. So he has much more legs there. So the beating he gets is not warranted. The disrespect he gets is not warranted. It's ridiculous. Does he miss goals? Yeah. But he also is a good decision maker on the field, even though he missed goals. Didn't give up his left foot as he should. So I don't understand why he gets so much flack. I don't understand why he gets so much disrespect. And it's unfortunate for him. I have no idea where he goes from here. I think he's challenged. I think he's going to be difficult for him to find a team. Some people mention Arsenal. Arsenal's not paying anybody more than 300,000. And Chelsea's going to want money for him. They ain't getting no money for him. Between his wages and his price, his market value, I don't know where he goes. I feel for him because I think he's been a good player. And let me just say this, people, because I've been thinking about this the other day. So if you think about the England team over the last 4 tournaments, right? He's played in, I think, 2 of those tournaments. He played in the World Cup in Russia. He played in the Europe at Wembley. Tell me any outstanding England players in those 4 tournaments, and I show you Sterling in the 2 tournaments he played. He was the best player in Russia, even though he didn't score a goal. Harry Kane won the Golden Boot there, and he was one of the worst players to me, probably the worst Golden Boot winner ever. Had decent tournament, wasn't exceptional. The Euros they played in England, Sterling was a star. I think he scored 3 goals, was rampaging, was England best player by a good distance, even though I think Saka came on and played well. Didn't get to play in the World Cup, and he had some family issues, and he was on the bench for Southgate. Didn't go to the last Euros. But tell me the England players who have done really well. Even though the Foden, who they boots up as player of the year, the Bellingham, the last tournament, they didn't produce. When Sterling goes to the tournament, he plays well. Right? He plays well when he goes to the tournament. Harry Kane doesn't play when he goes to tournament. Harry Kane was off at the last Euro. Which tournament has Harry Kane being exceptional in? Or any of the other players? People may say Rice was decent in the World Cup in Qatar, but he was decent. He wasn't exceptional. He was the only offensive player. Think about all the offensive players. When they used to have Lingard and Rashford go to Russia, he was the only offensive player and Dele Alli who was like hitting the ball off the cover, bamboozling defenders, creating opportunities for others. I don't think he's ever got his just due. When he didn't score in Russia, and they went and played Spain. I think probably the first time they've been in Spain in a long time. And he destroyed Spain in Spain and scored. He was a very good player for England, but he's never got the rating he deserves. But the numbers do not lie, people. So I'll get off the Sterling topic, but numbers don't lie, people. Because when you finish playing, they go by the stats. And no matter who they want to boots up and who they want to put in the position, who they want to give kudos to, like Grealish, who has never done anything for anybody, but he's been treated like the next coming of the Messiah. And all he does is stop the ball and turn around and dribble. And he's not creating, he's not scoring a lot of goals, he's not creating a lot of assists. I never get it. Nigel saying he's Jamaican born, treated better than John Barnes, but still not treated fairly by Southgate. Yeah, John Barnes didn't get treated well either. And I sort of know this trip. John Barnes, as I've said numerous times, if England paid John Barnes to start in the 86 World Cup, they win that World Cup. No doubt in my mind. No doubt, but they didn't, because England is what England is. And hey, that's what happens when sometimes you're a racist and you bring it on the football field, and it shouldn't be in sports. So it happens. Now, let's go from Sterling to Greenwood. And I have to drink some water for these people. We're going to talk about Greenwood. Now, Greenwood, people, hit the like button and bring the like button up to the 74 people in that chat now. 80, what the number is. Make the likes equal to people watching. Greenwood played this week. As you know, Greenwood was sold to Olympique de Marseille, as they call it, for 20-something million. Should get up to about 30-something with additives. And played this weekend against, what's it, Brest? What the name of the team is? Probably messing the name up. And a team that's in the Champions League, by the way. And he scored 2 goals. No, he was involved in, they scored 5. It was 5-1 win. The other team did miss a penalty. He was involved in all 5 goals, by the way. And the first goal was the best of the lot. And in the first goal, he got the ball just over the halfway line, and he touched the ball 4 times and put in the back of the net. Very, very good goal. Well taken. And I started watching him saying, I can see him on the right for Jamaica, a permanent slot. If we can just get his paper right and get him in as soon as possible. He won't play for England again. That's not happening. The public has decided that they want him, and the media has decided they don't want him. Even though I'm sure the administration, the players, and a bunch of clubs would love to have him. Because he's a talent, right? He's 22 years old. He's a talent. And his talent is undeniable. And he's been out of football since January 2022, just came back and played for Getafe. And he was their player of the year, right? Just been in Spain, not used to Spain, player of the year after not playing for 2 years. Top player. Let me guys know if you can hear this. And if he comes to Jamaica, you know what? More players will come. Let me guys tell me if you can hear this, people.
Player in world football. Player in world football, do you rate the highest?
So this is
young football.
This is Phil Neville.
Player in world football, do you rate the highest?
Give me 1 second, people. This is Phil Neville talking to Sir Alex and asking the question about. So I'm sure you guys have heard this before.
Player in world football, do you rate the highest?
Young footballer in the world. Oof. Mason Greenwood, in my opinion, is going to be a top player. He's got the coolness and coldness of a great striker. He never panics. His shots are always low. He's always inside the post. And I think that's shown great qualities.
Which young player in world football?
So people, that was Phil Neville asking Sir Alex Ferguson sort of which young player in football you think is going to be sort of great. and him saying great Mason Greenwood because of his composure, left foot, and that goal that he scored this weekend is an example of that. On the right, touched the ball 4 times, 4 dribbles, defender struggling to catch up with him, right hand corner, and he said something which is interesting. He said Mason kicks the ball low, and that shot was low. It's low to the right, it's on target, at the right pace, it's in the net. And he was involved in all 5 goals. He did score a penalty, he got a penalty, and he was involved in the other 2 goals. And he was, I think, this weekend in France, he was in the team of the week in France. I think he got an 8 rating, which is similar to the keeper from Nantes and the forward from Rennes. I think Lafont and Gohiri were the 2 players who got 8s. But if you look at the team of the week in France, he was on the team of the week as one of the players. And he's going to be in a lot of team of the week in France. Because as I said, he was Getafe's player of the year last season after not playing for like almost, year and a half, 2 years. So if he can come play for us, he's just locked on the right side. Whoever's playing on the right is no longer playing on the right. It's going to be him. And he did say forward. That means he can play across the front, actually. That was Gary Neville. Yeah, not Phil. No, not Phil. Not Phil. Phil is the one who used to coach Miami and coach the women's team. And that's the other brother. Gary is the famous one who's always on TV. Carl Toppin said, don't you think if Greenwood did serious about playing for Jamaica, he would have gotten his paper sorted already? Carl, should I say this? It's not as easy as it look, Carl. People, let me just say this about that. When kids sometimes want to go and play for a country and the papers are based on the grandparents who existed a long time ago, it becomes challenging, people, especially on the Jamaican, for different reasons. I'm not saying this is a Greenwood situation. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to leave the country under assumed name. Or the birth certificate wasn't clear, or the writing never clear. I want to spell the name wrong. You know how many people have gone through this situation who are trying to naturalize in Jamaica, and they have to go through so many different hurdles because the initial papers they're using for their heritage to get them their papers is not exact what it should be, right? And therefore, Pika got to do his research, and the player got to do their research, and they got to go back and forth for a long time to get it. Takes some people years to get those papers because the grandmother, the great-grandmother, name was Joyce, and now it's Joycey. I had a friend of mine who was born in Jamaica. She came here, and I think, I'm not going to say her name, but there was 1 letter difference in her name. And I think when she came here, it was using one name versus the other. You know how much challenge she has to go through to change her name? And she's born in Jamaica, by the way, and lived in Jamaica till she left like late teens, when she was a late teenager, and spent so much time trying to change things over in Jamaica to get it right. Took forever. And we haven't set up that expeditious process in Jamaica where there should be a VIP construct for people with special skills to get their papers. And plus, some of the people in Jamaica don't want no foreigner in them country anyway. Get no citizenship. I'm going to read a Gleaner paper that talks about some, that infers that. So, yeah. But no, I think they're working on it. We'll see if it materializes, but they're working on it. They're working on it. Nah, he missed no passport appointment. That was, what's his name, that plays in the League One. I don't hear of him missing any passport appointment. I got good information to say it may not be this window, but it will be another window. But it takes a while. Things are not as transparent as they seem. Sometimes the papers needs to be exactly correct or get corrected to make things happen. And people get frustrated. We get frustrated because we're in the background, not having the insight. And we're saying, why is this not happening? But there's sometimes wrong information being communicated. Like some players people come out with to say they're putting their papers. It's not true. They're putting their papers in. Or some people, they're saying that they're in the process. They're not in the process. Right? Some of these things are not true. And some people like to drop these thumbnails and just plain lie sometimes. I must say they lie. They want to trigger reaction to their videos, and they drop thumbnails which are so. They drop thumbnails which are not accurate. Basically inappropriate, frankly. Sometimes the thumbnail they drop, and you read it, and you're just like, really? You know that's not correct. You're saying things which you're saying is correct and it's not correct. But it is what it is. And so people run with it. And they put these kids in different difficult situations when sometimes we don't have the facts. And you shouldn't speculate. You can speculate, but you shouldn't say it as if it's fact when it's not fact. That's part of the problem. We're saying things as if they're facts sometimes, and they're not facts. And it creates more havoc than resolution. So Nigel saying, listen, Green returned on England call-up in 21, telling Southgate he was focused on his club football. Green is not the big on international football. That has nothing to do with the situation, no, Nitro, though. Because sometimes players, here's the thing, Nitro. Sometimes players turn down call-up because they don't want to sit on no bench. That's why Vardy decided not to play for England anymore, because he didn't want to sit behind Harry Kane. That's why I'm surprised people like Tony don't realize that. As to why Ivan Toney realized that's why Vardy quit England, because he was playing sometimes better than Kane, and Kane was a better goal scorer, but he was more effective, and he wasn't getting the game time, and he's just like, I don't want to come. I don't want to come sit on the bench and wait. I can be with my family. So sometimes it's not about people turning on call-up. They'll use the club or the football as an excuse. They just want to sit on the bench. Because the manager may tell them, as they have with one of the players who hasn't been coming from Jamaica, I'm going to bring you here for the experience, but you're not going to play. And the player's like, why do I want to fly 9 hours to come sit and watch people play football? I can be at home, do whatever I want to do. Why do I want to fly 9 hours from the UK to Jamaica and maybe fly to the US and fly back to Jamaica and then fly back to the UK to watch other people play football? I'm not doing that. So sometimes those are reasons. Until we have the reason, or think we have enough information to inform that reason, then we shouldn't be blaming the players, because sometimes it's not their fault. It's just situation, right? Sometimes they just don't want to be bothered because they know they're not going to play. But we don't know the facts, so we speculate, and then we draw conclusions. And then sometimes the traditional press and YouTubers don't help the situation. They just exacerbate the situation and make it worse. What do you mean, Claudine? What palm, Claudine? What are you alluding to? Who said Nason wanted to be a reggae boy? Who said? I assume you're talking about Reese Nelson, right? You said Nason. I assume you're talking about Reese Nelson, Warren. I haven't heard nothing about Reese Nelson putting his papers in. Let me just say that. Nothing. So maybe people know more than I know. I have heard nothing. I know Reese was in Jamaica. I have heard nothing about Reese putting his paper in. And I've heard he's been speaking to. Reese is trying to find a team. I don't think Reese is focused on international football. And by the way, people, not everybody wants to play international football for Jamaica. Because Jamaica is not in the top 10 in the world. And it's not going to give them the prominence some of them want. Oh, you talk about Mason. I think when Mason comes here, he'll be the best player Jamaica Reggae Boy has ever had in their history. I repeat that, because sometimes people think I just exaggerate. When Mason Greenwood come play for Jamaica, if he does come, he'll be the best player Jamaica will ever have in its history playing for them. Ever. And he's 22 years old. Now, some people probably take onus with that. And I'll say to them, tell me a better player that's ever put on Jamaica shoes and gear to play for Jamaica than Mason Greenwood. Through Jamaica's history, and Jamaica been doing football for what? Probably about 100 years now? A long, long time now? He'll be the best player that ever put on Jamaica gears and play for them. That's my view. Gaming is saying, if Everton and Ireland, him should have just come and play for Jamaica because he's not even good like Watkins. Yeah. Look, I think, like I said before, people, some players don't want to fly the 9 hours and come to this part of the world. They come to this part of the world. They want to go to Las Vegas and go gamble and hang out and go to Sin City. They don't want to come play football in a region they don't even respect. Some of them. Some of them don't respect CONCACAF. It's not the highest level. Yeah, but it's like going to play in the USL for some of them. That's how they view it. We don't get that because we feel like we're the you know what. But some of them probably think, why am I going to play for Jamaica to play in CONCACAF and probably hurt myself and damage my career, fly 9 hours, fly business economy, not even flying first class. Why am I going to do that? Stress, come play in an empty stadium. What's my incentive for coming to play? I don't even know the people there. Yeah, my dad was there, but my dad disappeared when I was 6, 7 years old. We rarely see him. You ain't giving no child support. We don't have a relationship. Why should I come play for you? And then also, to make it worse, I hear a bunch of people you're senior in your country talking about, I'm a reject. Really? I don't want to be no reject. I don't want to be disrespected. Why should I come play for you? Right? And we sit here with our chests out saying we're Jamaica. We are the what? You know what? Guy can play for us because we're the team. We're the country. You didn't hear about us? And they're like, yeah, I heard about you, but I'm not impressed. And we can't get over that because we think we already know what. And we have so many xenophobics that makes it even worse. All the xenophobia that's on the island, especially on the island, some outside the island, in the diaspora, why should they come play for us? So I think the conception and perspective we have on who we are and what we represent is not necessarily what other players may think about us. And think about it. And you hear all this thing about and us then having quotas. People, all these things are interlinking up. We have quota. I'm going to touch upon the Gleaner paper commentary that they had, editorial, because it's important for me to dissect it and just beat it because it needs beaten. It's very interesting how we think and what we want versus what reality entails. And I hear, what's his name from Chelsea, Mikel, cursing out people about Nigeria and they're going to play when they're late in their game. Most times, it's the country asking the player to come play. They ain't going to beg for them to play. Obi Mikel, and people in Jamaica, and people who follow the football. Most of the time, the players are not begging to come play for their own country that they weren't born in. We're the one asking them to come play. And we're going to have attitude if they told us no. But when we don't call them, and when we don't tell them to come play, and when like people like DJ, we don't call back for whatever reason, do we see and say, why is DJ not playing? Why is DJ not here? No, we don't care. So why should they care? I always find that to be frustrating and unconscionable, the way we as fans think should be and what we want, and it's about us versus the players. It makes no sense. If a player don't want to come play for us, we lose our mind. But if they can't make the team, we don't even think about them. We don't even really care. And that goes about club football, international football. So if the players say they want to play for Jamaica, just get over yourself and get over it and move on. Let's try another player. And we're going to go to the Gleaner editorial that sort of talks to this a little bit and have a conversation about it. But my last point on Greenwood is this, is that he's a brilliant footballer. He allegedly, I'm going to use the word allegedly because it can't be proven. At least I can't prove it, and I haven't seen it proved. Made a bad decision when he was 19 years old. Hopefully the young man's life has turned around. Hopefully he'll be forgiven by some who seem to be all up in themselves and don't want to forgive him and want him to lose his trade that he's worked all his life for. I think he's gotten some punishment. He didn't play football for like 2 years. And everybody should be given a second chance if he did do what they say he did. Right? So we hope that he also comes to play for Jamaica. If he doesn't, that's his prerogative. If he does, it will help the World Cup qualification. Not only that, he will bring a different cachet to the island. We will get players, I believe, that we wouldn't have gotten if he came and played. Players want to play with great players. And he has the potential to be a great player. And as Alex Ferguson indicated when he was asked by Gary Neville about sort of the sort of world next great forward in the world. He didn't say in England. He didn't say in Spain, in the world. He picked out Greenwood. And I think the kid would only get better over time because when you're out from football for a while, it takes a while to get up to speed. I think he did like a Gaddafi. And if this weekend is any indication, he can only get better. So let me try to find, I'm going to read this article, people. I pulled up from, I think last week, the Gleaner. It was a Gleaner editorial. I think the title was Steve McClaren's Mandate. And I think we should have a conversation about this. People, 71 like, 101 people. People, I was going to talk about this, but I'm going to bring it up. I've been doing this now. End of this month will be 3 months, I think. I've been doing YouTube. It's been an interesting experience. I didn't know people in general, but a lot of Jamaicans we're so stingy to give out freeness, which I'm talking about is the likes. They don't give out likes, and it's free people. I wonder if you ask them for something, they don't really give. If you ask them for like money or something, what it would be like. You ask them for likes, and it's been something that I have to like digest because I didn't really understand how it works. But since I've been doing this for the last 3 months, and I will admit, people, I did think about quitting, and I still may do so. I did think about quitting because I got frustrated. Say, if I'm coming here and spending all this time doing all this research, I've said this numerous times, I'll say it again for the 101st time. I spend all this time doing all this research, sometime all day, trying to come up with content that is substantive, and then you're feeling hard to press the like button, then why should I waste my time? Because YouTube ain't paying me. You know, YouTube sent me something. They said for the first 2 months I've been doing this, I'm going to show you guys when I get it. I know what it is, but let's just say after taxes, less than $50 for 2 months work. So if I work for a year, I'll make $300 for the year. If I do the YouTube, let's call the YouTube thing a job. You think I must spend my time doing this? It costs me more to buy this equipment, to buy Zoom machine, and buy new mic, all them something, yeah? It costs much more than $300, frankly. I forget StreamYard for what, $500 a year. So the point I'm making, I'm not doing this for the money, people. The point I'm making is that when you hold on to your free, and Claudine, give me a hard time about it, for your free likes, you can't keep your likes. Because one day I'm going to say, you know what? I'm probably a waste of the time, so me just stop doing it. Stop doing it, because you do want to do it. You do want to do it with certain quality. It does take time to do it. But you also, as like everybody's in life, yeah, coach, $50 after taxes. Coach, me not make your money, no, coach, because me know say your check be big. But now you have few of them say, nah, me like to do the lives them. Me not have time. If it's don't try to do the 10-minute video, them 10-minute video take more than 10 minutes in the people. 10-minute video is not 10 minutes. No, what do I tell you? The 10 minutes, I don't have 10 minutes. Much more 10 minutes. If you want to do it right, and I can't do things half-hearted, that's why I'm not doing it. If I don't think what I'm putting out is quality, I'm not doing it. We can't just come and just throw the topic and just start saying, just start with the topic. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to have data to inform the topics. We can't do that. I waste my time. I'm not even doing that. That's not me learn for do them things. So yeah, it's a work in progress. It may be a work I resign from true call. It may be a work I resign from. I don't have patience in life, people. I don't have patient thing. I'm too senior now to do patient thing. If I'm asking for a free like, because that's how coach them teach me, Minzy them teach me, Mannings them teach me, say, and JD them teach me, because them are my mentors, and I have mentor in the space, people, mentors. So I always look for mentors in life. They might mentor me. Yes, Claudine, I'm back with the likes again, Claudine. Because no, I mean, if I don't sleep on the channel sometimes, people, that's how I stop doing my balance view thing, Let me start do balance view anymore in a while. I'm doing balance view now, you can have. Come here, I say, Claudine, I waste of time, Claudine, waste of time. But anyway, we'll continue with subject, Claudine. But if you're not give me the likes, then I not waste my time with it, because I spend enough time with this. Actually, you might do. I may go find a radio station sometime and go on. Me think about it now. I've been thinking about that. Maybe I should find a radio station and just go on it and become like do a segment, buy some airtime, and do like a hour tours from the radio station versus come here and waste no time. Me can work for $50 every 2 months. That means that $25 a month me I get. That means, you know something? Because if you do YouTube, it's a different thing. You have to pay like Social Security, you're self-employed. That means my tax person probably charge me more to do the taxes, coming to do my tax anymore, than what me I get. You know what? I tell YouTube not give me no money, because they might waste my time. I'll be wasting them time. First of all, Juras, I appreciate you, Juras. Let me say this further. I appreciate you a ton, because you always here. So I appreciate you, Juras. But I tell you, Juras, to do 2 channels, enough work. What you say? I know we are staying cranky. Sweet, fine love, and not the likes. No, Lindsay, I work, Lindsay. Trust me, I work. It's not work where you liking a Lindsay. You like the working, but like everybody else. Okay, people, if you do a speech, anybody you are, if you're Kamala Harris, if you're Biden, I'm not gonna use Trump. I'm not like Trump. if you're a bro god. So when you give a speech, no matter who you are, and them say, hey, bro god, a good speech you're going on. Like the speech, Bro god will feel good, even though he's an accomplished person. Our Kamala Harris will feel good. People want recommendation, them want appreciation, them want to be acknowledged. So people stay in life, and no matter what they've achieved in life, they like to be know that they're still relevant, and then want the support, and then want it in a way in which to show they're appreciated. That's what people want. So if you don't give them appreciation, they must say, why may I waste my time to do this? The likes are part of the appreciation, people. Not get it wrong. I see it on YouTube, the likes. When I do a stream, for example, get much likes. I could do a watch along and get 3,000 views easy. Because you put Arsenal on the top topic, or you put Jamaica on the topic. But if you do a normal stream like this, it's challenging. On YouTube, people who have enough Jamaican audience, about $1 per 1,000 views. So, say, I know money thing. But people want to be appreciated. So that's why Claudine give me a hard time. I have to push back on Claudine because I understand so this at enough time to stay. Oh God help me. Must win and even nonsense again. People here must win. People not beat must win for me, man. Must win saying paying taxes and compensation is completely voluntary, cranky. People, we all read about must win one day. Me and you are there and read about must win. Must win. Stop saying things in the public must win. Because you don't know who the IRS. Because we always watch a must win. Your phone bug, YouTube bug, all them bug. Trust me, Panda. They might listen to everything you say. Because they might use another concept of them a check for terrorism. They might pick it up. Compensation in the US is taxable. It depends on the nature of the compensation. So if you have private equity instead of business, you get capital tax rate. If you make ordinary income, you can tax at ordinary rate based on your situation, based on your tax bracket, based on what you make. It's how it works, must win. And you want to debate me upon it, and we'll debate one day. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, Claudine, so then tell me. So Brian versus Cranky to start balance views. Takes for you to grow. It's not going to happen overnight. You're a businessman, you know that. Yeah, Brian. No, I'm going to change it, Brian. Hey, people, I'm telling you this. I'm digressing. I want to get to the Gleaner thing, but we may not do the Gleaner thing until tomorrow night. I need topics. I'm going to like to do the topics half-heartedly. So I may just do the Gleaner thing tomorrow. Because the Gleaner thing need time for this cipher, for break it down, for assess it, for comment upon it, right? And the Gleaner thing kind of toxic too. So I may not do the Gleaner thing tonight. Me have it here. I want to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do the Gleaner thing tonight. I can't call in people. Put up the number. I'm going to do the Gleaner thing tomorrow. Just like I'm giving a teaser. I'm going to do the Gleaner article tomorrow because we need to go through the Gleaner article in detail and talk about it. So maybe we'll do it tomorrow. No. So I'm going to talk now silent by the Triple E. If me silent, because me alone and I saw the show me I done. And like coach, coach, we always have guests. Because coach can't get the good guests then. Me can't get no guests. Nobody want to come on Cranky Life. They don't want to come on my program for some reason. Even though I must admit, I haven't asked a lot of people to come on, actually. Good evening. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, Presser.
Presser, how you doing? Why every time you call your name changing, go on, Presser. Go on, Presser.
No. So maybe it's like it's the Raheem Sterling, I'm calling me Presser. But anyways, I want to talk about the Raheem Sterling situation, right?
Okay.
It's a situation for Sterling because, there's a huge uncertainty surrounding his future at Chelsea, which was obvious over the weekend, Obviously at one point, Mariska is relaying one message to Sterling was it's a different story come match day in terms of him being left out of the squad and Chelsea or Mariska stating it's a technical decision, which I realize that it's a trend over this new season where when a manager leave out a player, they go to the fact that, or they use the terminology that it's a technical decision. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I mean, he has 3 years left on his contract. I don't really see where Sterling, I don't see in the Prem right now where Raheem Sterling would not say there's not a team that could use a Raheem Sterling, but it all comes down to the price that Chelsea would want to sell him for, plus the wages that club potentially would have to cover for Sterling. If you're talking about like the big 6, like the Spurs, United, Arsenal, Liverpool, whatever the case is, he has been to Liverpool before. He was at City recently. Now, if he finishes up with Chelsea and he moves on, United won't take Sterling. Spurs won't take Sterling, right? Newcastle, maybe, but then again, the whole financial situation with them. But there's still something within Raheem Sterling. I just think that he needs to be in the right environment. And I was listening to TalkSport, and I don't know if it was Simon Jordan or one of those guys was mentioning. I think it was Graham Souness. He was mentioning maybe Saudi Arabia, which I don't know if Raheem Sterling is the type of character to live in Saudi Arabia. I mean, the money is big if they come calling, you know what I'm saying? And maybe you can sacrifice yourself for like a year or two and collect some big wages. But I don't know if Sterling wants that. I think he wants something more out of football right now.
No, I think Sterling want to get back into the England squad. Sterling, is my understanding, have no intention to go to Saudi Arabia anytime soon. Sterling has some tough choice to make. He will not get over 100,000 if he leaves Chelsea to go other than Saudi Arabia because people can't afford those wages. The reason why Reece Nelson hasn't moved, he's making 120 a year. The reason why Nketiah situation is challenging, they're thinking, I got to pay you 30 mil plus 5.2 mil a year. That over a 4-year contract is a lot of money. It's like 50 mil versus 30 mil, right? Most people in the Premier League are not making 100 plus when you're a bench player, which Arsenal have quite a few of those. So unless you're a big 6 team, or maybe in a big, well, Villa's in the big 4 now, but unless you're a big 16, the traditional big 6, you can't pay those exorbitant wages and then have the transfer fee included. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I think what I've realized recently, a good market for players like Raheem Sterling and the type of situation that he's in is Italy. I think Italian clubs, they normally come to the Prem and take some of these players off those huge wages. Not that they pay the wages, but they normally figure out something with these respective Premier League clubs. We've seen the likes of like Lukaku and a few others who, they were on big wages at a point in time when, they ended up moving to Italy. But then again, those deals take some time to get going and to finish up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I just think that Raheem Sterling finds himself in an unfortunate situation. I mean, initially, when you would have made the move to Chelsea, you're thinking to yourself, okay, it's not a bad move, right? Because Chelsea, they were on the up at that point in time. They just came off the back of winning a Champions League, etc., etc. Then this third Bowley guy comes in. Did they buy Sterling before Bowley, or was it after Bowley?
No, he was one of the first acquisitions by Bowley's team.
Well, yeah, but even at that point in time when they would have got Raheem Sterling, they were still like at a steady pace. You know what I'm saying? Because the Champions League win was relatively new, like maybe a year or two or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And they were making some good acquisitions in terms of like the Koulibaly and all those different types of players. But if Sterling at that point knew what was going to happen now, then I think he would have went somewhere else. I don't know which club that would have been.
Well, but you want him to prognosticate the future? You want him to be a soothsayer, predict the future? He wouldn't have a clue about the situation and that he would go through 4 coaches or 5 coaches today. He would know that. So, question for you: somebody in chat asked which team you support. I know which team you support, but tell the people in chat what team you support.
Yeah, United, Manchester United.
He says it's low and not too loud, but he says he supports Minzy's team, and they haven't been having too much fun of late. But they won. They won on Friday.
But before we get to United, right? I think Sterling have to take some blame in the county because some of the performances from Sterling, especially in the last couple of seasons, has not been to the best of his abilities. You know what I'm saying? And I've always said, when you have a certain ability as a player, right? Even though the ship might be a sinking ship, you should always stand out amongst the rest of players. You know what I'm saying? Chelsea, for a period of time, they were a sinking ship last season, but Cole Palmer did stand out. He had a few players as well. I know that people like to bash Nicholas Jackson, but to an extent, he was a standout player, especially seeing that was his first season in the English Premier League. And this is why I always beat Pogba when he was at United. People always say, oh, you need to play this midfielder beside him, or you need to buy this midfielder to put beside Pogba so he can unlock him. And I'm saying, listen, I hear the argument, but still, you have to take responsibility for your performances. There's no way you can tell me that, oh, we need to put a 6 beside Paul Pogba for him not to miscontrol the ball or for him to not be like a daisical in playing in the midfield. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, when you have players or better players around you, it helps you. But as a player, you still have to take responsibility. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I mean, his performance, look, he's been a player that divides opinion in England for a lot of different reasons, right? Whether it's the racism he receives from his playing, whether it's him leaving Liverpool to go to Man City, whether it's him having a gun tattoo on his leg, whether it's him spending certain money for certain causes, including his family. It's a constant something with him. And the media, a lot of time created by the media, because that's how they are in England, and created by the fans, that's how they are in England. And but sometimes he doesn't help himself, because he does sometimes miss some easy chances. He hasn't worked on his left foot throughout his career, which he probably should have. But I think he's still a very, very good player who should be given benefit of the doubt. And I'm sure if he leaves and go to another team, he may have to step down, right? He may have to take some. Look, if I was him, I'd say, look, Chelsea, let's split the difference. You owe me 50-something million. You give me 25 million of that 50-something million, so I can go invest that money, even though it's taxable. So I'm going to get half of that. No, net. You then can have another team probably buy me to help negate some of that you're going to lose. I'll take a reduced salary with that team, and we go from there. But he'd have to give up some money if he wants to move.
And I mean, I think a loan deal is the best option as well. You know what I'm saying? Because over a period of time, 3 years left on his contract, you go out on a season, that's 2 years left. So your value, it keeps going on. Unless you have this like exceptional season, but even at that, Chelsea will not be looking to renew your contract. And, you know, Sterling's situation reminds me of David De Gea, David De Gea was spewing BS recently, where he said that, the reason why it took so long for him to find a club because, you know, after like leaving United, you kind of don't have that motivation. No, it's that you earn a lot of wages at United, and no, you have to take a big, like, not even big, like a massive wage cut to still be playing at this level. You know what I'm saying?
But so, I hope he saved his money. He was making about almost 400,000 per week, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's what, like on 30 grand now?
Because Man U always overpays by a lot.
And he's on 30 grand now, so that's a massive.
He's on 30 grand now?
Yeah, must be something like that, man.
Oh.
30 grand a week. Yeah, so obviously that's where the motivation is, which nothing is wrong, but if you have to be realistic with yourself at times and say, listen, okay, these clubs, they're not going to offer me anything close, not even probably like 150, because they're getting up in age. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But other than that, who's Sterling the best of it? Let me just touch on United quickly. You know, I watched the game. I didn't get to watch it when it was playing, but I watched the replay. Good performance. I had some strong opinions before I even watched the game. However, we need to be finishing our chances. And let me just tell you, Frankie, I don't know what the use of Mason Mount is. I would like somebody to explain what is Mason Mount's role in a team. He does not create. He doesn't really defend. So I don't know, you know, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I didn't understand him. I watched Mount play for England. I watched him play for Chelsea for years. He's a good runner, right? He's fit. He runs around a lot. He scored a few goals here and there. He's a decent player, but was he worth 50 million? He didn't have a good season when he had to leave Chelsea, but he was all profit when Chelsea sold him. So maybe that's why they sell him, because that's what Chelsea seems to be doing nowadays. Because the history of Chelsea is that they buy players young, or they get very good academy players. They had the best academy before Man City, you know. And they produce a lot of players and have them out, let them out on loan, buy them young. It's been the same strategy at Chelsea for a while now, except now they're buying them more for more money, versus before they used to bring them in, groom them, then sell them, or put them out on loan until whatever reason. So it's going to be interesting going forward to see what happens with him at United. But he and Fernandes play the same position. So he's going to be on the bench. He's going to be on the bench.
Yeah, and also, like, I feel like it's hard for him to operate in a team with that Bruno, where the emphasis is more so on Bruno to create, because he will always get more touches off the ball to an extent to create those chances. Whereas, as a Mason Mount, you have to make use of the chances that you're getting. You know what I'm saying? Right. Whether it's a half chance, whether it's a full chance, any little opportunity you get, you have to kind of show yourself and say, okay, this is what I can offer to this team. And I'm saying to people, I'm seeing Casemiro have more attacking output than a Mason Mount. How can that be?
Because Mason Mount, he's been injury prone for a while now, and I'm sure he has to get his foot under him to get back. Because Premier League speed is different speed than people. People seem to realize they're not different speed. I watch some players. If you don't know Premier League speed is different speed, watch the players who hit it out in the Championship a lot of times and come up and struggle. There are not a lot of Ali Watkins and Ivan Tonys of the world that you see, or the new kid from Crystal Palace who play the six. A lot of players who come from the Championship who do really well struggle because it's a different level. You're playing with the best players, some of the best players in the world. So it becomes difficult. If you're out for a long time, like a Mason Mount, it'll take a while for you to catch up. But he doesn't have a place in the Man U team because he's not a winger. He's not an 8. he's probably more of a 10, but not a 10 that pass the ball between the lines and split defenses. I have no idea he's going to fit in the Man U. And when Man U get the team set, because Meno and Casemiro are going to play the double pivot or play the 6-8. Then Fernandes is going to play the 10. Then you're going to have Højlund or Zersky, whatever his name is, playing the 9. And then you have Rashford out wide with the Argentinian or Diallo. So there's no place to mount in the team.
And two more things. Diallo looks good. He has always looked good, to be fair. Really direct. I love him. Good dribble off the ball. And Rashford, I don't know, Cranky. I think this is it for Rashford. No, I don't think there's anything more to Rashford. I mean, he'll have like a couple purple patches, but just looking at him, he's not the player that he once was, and he's not like he was ever like this like good player. I mean,
I'm not going to write off Rashford actually. Just I'm not writing off Sterling. There's certain players who have certain skill set which you just don't lose overnight, right?
No, that's what I said. Like Rashford, to me, he's a purple patch player. And I'm not saying that you cannot have purple patch players in a team, but for the standard that United should be operating at, like, if you're going to predominantly play on the wings, then you need players that hit it week in, week out. Where Rashford, there are a lot of inconsistencies season after season. And if you look at his overall game as a player, Cranky, he hasn't improved in certain years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we keep rewarding these players with contracts. But, I mean, with Ineos in now, they look to be ruthless. So, I'm not saying they're going to ship him out anytime soon, but I don't think they're afraid to do that if it comes to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
understood.
It's a new page for him in terms of new ownership. It's the first game of the season. So hopefully him can kick on and contribute something to the team because he's on a lot of money. But that's it. So.
All right. Thanks a lot, Presser.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call.
Yeah, be up.
Yeah. So that was the man of many names. Press 433 5050. Man has a lot of pseudonyms and a lot of different names, but always have good thoughts and a lot of different topics. So thanks for the call. Appreciate it. So Tony says Arsenal have reached verbal agreement with Spanish goalkeeper Juan Garcia of Espanyol on personal terms. He's the prime target for Arsenal. How much does he cost? Because I find this interesting. So people, here's where I go again with this whole thing about players and teams, because Ramsdale was Mr. Infallible when he first joined Arsenal, and now he's not wanted. Good evening. Hello? Good evening.
Just come to Wagwan.
Not much. Who's speaking?
World Traveler.
I know it's World Traveler, but you have to tell the people who you are, World Traveler. What can I do for you? What can I do for you, World Traveler? What you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want we in a conversation because this kind of puzzles me. Salary.
Right.
Like what a club is paying paying a player. When I buy that player, why do I have to pay him the same salary as the club is coming from?
That's a very good
regardless of what. Yeah, regardless of the transfer fee.
Right. So
because,
go ahead.
Because what I think, if you're making that money from that club and I'm going to buy you, I think it's you and I should renegotiate what I want to pay you.
Right. So that normally happens. Yes, that normally happens. But here's the thing, though. So you're getting paid $300,000 a week, like $350 a week. Sterling's getting from Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
And Arsenal coming want to buy Sterling. Sterling have a 5-year contract with Chelsea. He's only gone 2 years of the contract. He's still owing $350 a week. Why would Sterling want to take less money because you want to sell him to Arsenal? He'd be out of his mind to do that.
Yeah, but if it's not working out for you at that club, as you spoke about earlier, sometimes things not work out and you start getting less playing time.
Right.
Understand? So you don't want your farm to drop. You want to make sure. So if I'm going to get first team play at another club and then say, okay, take 100, yeah, get 300. We can't pay 2. Why would I want to? I would rather take the pay cut and get first team play.
Right, and that's their prerogative. But some players are not taking any pay cut. In fact, some players want when players move, people don't realize this, There's a lot of agent fees sometimes involved, It's not just a transfer fee, A lot of agent fees involved. So every transfer in the situation his agent gonna get a cut of it. So the acquiring team would have to get a cut of the pay the agent transfer fee. The agent fee they're getting, plus the transfer fee, plus your salary. I don't think any team that's going to acquire Sterling is going to be able to pay and afford him. They can't afford him. That's the problem. And I think Tony put it up earlier in the chat. That's what the problem is with a lot of players nowadays. Look at Osimhen from Napoli, for example. Part of his problem is he's making a lot of money. When they wanted to change his contractual situation last time, they're giving him over $200,000 a year, £200 a year, so that he could sign a contract and he could have a fee involved of like £110 million. First of all, nobody's going to pay the $110 million. And even if they lower the fee, they still want to pay him the fee that is compensation, his wages. So it becomes a problem for those players who have high comp, which they don't want to reduce, plus they have high buyout clause. That's the problem.
Okay. The whole transfer fee and stuff. I'm not sure if in America it's the same thing. I'm talking like basketball and NFL.
No. America have a slave trade. America exchange play for players. It's not transfer fee. Well, you know what? It's probably the same as slave trade for both. In America, you try to have players of equivalent value that transfer.
Yeah.
So before it was only about the bodies, but now they're trying to match up comp to move players too. Right? But America is more about the bodies than anything else. I'm trying to trade equivalent value in terms of the ability of the players. And a lot of times it normally was much less than it was. Less about the money and more about the quality of the players and the ability of the players.
I know, because sometimes one player maybe value they have to use that five players to match up to that one player they're trading for, something like that.
Yeah.
But agent fee, because I noticed in England, they must talk about transfer fee and agent fee. So I'm wondering if the transfer fee, the agent get a cut out of that transfer fee, or is paid separately.
Paid separately. So for example, say transfer fee for Rice is $100 million. I'm sure his agent probably get about $10 million in his or her pocket. Yeah.
Okay, but in America, if you get a deal like they sign you for making like LeBron James.
Hey, no fee involved. No money not change hands.
No, I'm not talking about fee. I'm talking about his salary, what he's going to pay.
Right.
His agent get a cut out of his salary money.
Yeah. So here's the difference between the two continents, actually, which is really interesting. So in America, the player plays the agent, and you hear Simon Jordan railing about this on Talksport sometime. In Europe, the club will the play. If Europe is funny, the player employs the agent, but in those transfers, the club pays the agent, which makes no sense, to be honest. I would admit that. If I employ you to work for me, you're my lawyer, I pay you, not the party who is you negotiating the deal with. So it doesn't make any sense, but that's how they do it in Europe. Yeah. So in America, so for example, LeBron would play, what's his name? Rich Paul, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Normally, agent usually get about 5%. Sometimes it change based on how much you make nowadays because big numbers. But
like 15%.
No, it used to be like 5. It used to be 5, and sometimes it varies. Depends on your relationship with the agent. 5 was the number a lot of times. Number may have changed back and forth. It could be less now because if your contract is now 200 million versus it used to be like 50 million, you're getting 5% of 200 million. It's a big number. It's like 10 million. So in the US, I think they have changed those situations how they do it. But in the US, the players pay the agent. In Europe, when you have this transfer, the club pay the agent.
Okay. I don't want to know because I just keep listening to it and it just sounds different, but you explained to me, Europe is different from America.
Yeah, they do things different than the two. And you know what? In Europe also, players have the ability in Europe, even though they try to do it more in the NFL here, but they get penalized, to want to push to break contracts. What I mean by contracts, they push for a transfer, for example, which is I'm trying to push for a trade, right? In the US, owner would just laugh you up and said, you have a 6-year contract. I don't care what you want to do. You ain't going nowhere. It's different in Europe. Somehow it gets facilitated. You would think it worked the same because a contract is a contract. But in Europe, you can move more freely from one club to the next, even if you have a contract for a certain period of time, than you can in the US. I'm curious to see how that works now with more American owners in like the Premier League, for example, who are normally sports owners also in the US, how they will deal with this situation. But the labor law is also a little bit different in Europe versus the US, for example. So it's interesting.
Okay, I got it.
Yep. So
I got it.
Appreciate the call, though, sir.
Yeah, man. And one day in this week, tomorrow I'm going to be on the road, so I won't be able to watch your show live. But one day anyway, black content with coaches, Jamaican coaches who were hired by Jamaica, by JFF, who were having success, but the JFF didn't want to pay them, and they had to leave. I have a few coaches in mind I can talk about.
Okay.
They were doing their job and they were getting success, but
right.
but
you mean coaches, local coaches who coach?
No, man, foreign coach. I'm talking about
foreign coaches who coach Jamaica, but weren't getting compensated.
Yeah. They were having success, meaning that they were building. They were getting success on the field.
Men's or women's team?
The senior team I'm talking about, man. But the JFF didn't want to pay them anymore, and they had to leave. Like they forced them out. Stop paying them, so they were like Schaefer. I know Schaefer is one of them.
Well, they couldn't afford Schaefer.
Yeah, but listen to me. You hired the man. I mean, you couldn't afford him. You hired the man.
No,
the man
you understand.
The...
People understand. Wait. The JFF is to be broke. Hey, people, no, back up, world travel, back up. JFF is broke like dog, you know. That's the statement got broke like dog.
That was under borrowing. That was under borrowing.
Nobody carried over. They were in so much debt. You didn't see the financial statements. The JFF just started making money the other day when him get Adidas deal.
Yeah, but the Adidas deal,
and him get tournament money from more recently. It's only more recently because the Adidas deal help. The JFF start make some money, and so they start pushing them chest some more. But no, the JFF broke bad. Look at the numbers. When they start telling you, we made money this year, they were making no portion of money. They have big debt they had to pay down. Now, I haven't seen I got to look at the latest financials because the Adidas money, the Copa money, the Gold Cup money, that started to help. That's why we keep telling people when players are flying 9 hours come play for Jamaica, they're not making no portion of money. And the JFF make the money. The country make the money. The players don't make the money. I like the players might get 20% or 30% of the fee them get. I get no portion.
We start talking about the content already, but John Barnes, we have John Barnes in mind too, you know.
Yeah, well, John left because they want to tell John what to do, and John nobody can tell what John what to do.
No, well, when I listen to John's argument, he was on an internship. He go through 9 matches in play. Draw 4, win 5, or the other way around.
Right.
Which other way around? But he never lose any match. But then his 10 years up, and then he's asking Burren now, what you want to do now? You're going to stay me full time so I can move my family to Jamaica or what? And he was getting an argument. You understand?
Yeah, well, I think Burrell is an interesting character. You don't want to talk bad about people who have passed on. So I'll just say he was an interesting character. And at some point, the Burrell discussion will come up, because that it will come up in a Gleaner article I'm going to read tomorrow, people. Because he was mentioned in here. So tomorrow, I'm going to go through the Gleaner article and decipher it, because we're going to spend a lot of time on it. And Burrell's name was here also. It'll be part of the conversation tomorrow.
Because I think John Barnes was doing really well. Really, really well with this team. The same carrier team got England, got a second team got play Nigeria.
All right.
Got a draw still, but at the best, me was a Sean Sayers keeper. And he was a keeper I never rate.
All right. But no, John was undefeated, right? He didn't lose any game.
That's what I said. 9 match. Yeah, 9 match, 4 win, 5 draw, or the other way around.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't remember him losing any game, actually. But you know what? John didn't have the best coaching career, frankly. I think he coached in Scotland at one point. But some players, when they're very good players, they struggle to be very good managing coaches because
he was doing well for Jamaica. He was
no. Yeah, but when that was under another regime, right? It's a different regime.
Yeah, I know him failed. He failed other places he went, but
it
was working out for him in Jamaica.
Yeah. But we probably will. It could be a segment of a show. It won't be a whole show, but we could have a segment of a show. So I'll think about that actually. Because it could be it's a like we'll have to one team have to involve in it, because we have to talk about Donaldson too. Because Donaldson was the most successful coach in Jamaica's history. Apart from, in fact, Dallas is the most successful coach in Jamaica's history, period. Even if you include Simonis. He's the most successful coach in Jamaica's history. He got 2 World Cups and he made the second round. No other coach have done that, period. No, it's not even debatable. And he was fired after achieving Jamaica's best outcome in any World Cup tournament. I shouldn't say major tournament, because one question we go semi-final after that.
Well, and then he was a coach for the first regular swim.
Yes. That's why they bring him. That's why they go to him ask him again.
Oh, I never know him.
Yeah. He did both.
Because I think the first coach was a man. He might just sit down on the bench. He not get up and come on the touchline.
Well, Donaldson doesn't get up a lot, period. You know, so Donaldson coach. Donaldson doesn't get up a lot. I thought Donaldson missed that trick in the World Cup when he had Bunny playing center forward and she couldn't get no ball. But apart from that, I think Donaldson is the most successful coach in Jamaica history.
No, well, there's no question about that.
But somebody's saying he was assistant coach. I thought, wasn't he the coach of the World Cup? So maybe I'm wrong on that then.
That's when I said the first World Cup. I don't think I never even was there the first.
Well, he was on the coaching staff. Put it that way. He was on the coaching staff.
Well, yeah. Well, if he was on it,
so I misspoke. I misspoke, people. I take that back. Yeah. He was on the coaching staff.
Yeah. Oh, he was assistant coach.
Yeah, he was on the coaching staff. But he was a coach. He was a coach the last time, and they the Jamaica jersey. They must send a launch. These are pretty.
Yeah, the new jersey.
No, Arsenal. It's Arsenal kit with a Jamaica flavor to it.
Them did again the second time now.
God, I make enough money. What do you mean the second time? No,
money. Well,
Bugsby,
it was a training jersey.
All right, people, I stand corrected.
Training jersey. It was training jersey.
It was training jersey, but this is like tracksuit type kit. They have it modeled by kids and by senior people. So yeah. I apologize, people. Bugsby was the coach, but Lon was on the staff, is my understanding.
Yeah,
but Lon is still the best coach in Jamaica because he went second round.
I met his brother. I met his brother the other day. His brother is in Colorado. He plays on the radio. He's a disc jockey.
Lon has been in Colorado forever. Wasn't Lon out there when Walter Boyd and them was out there and Dingy?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Maybe. But I know his brother. I met his brother. So it's a good thing. But I just want to see Jamaica qualify for this World Cup. Joke now. As I spoke to you last time, with all the top 3 teams gone through already, we must top that round, that final round. We're in the semi-final round now, and we're second because of goal average. But when we get to the next round, we must top that. No third place finish.
What do you mean?
What I mean?
Yeah.
After this round, the round we're in right now, but we won 2, but we're in second place.
Right.
Because of goal average. So this 2 team qualifies from this one.
Well, Guatemala is leading us. Guatemala has 9-4, none against. So yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So when we go through this round, when you go through this round and get to the other round or the final round, we must top that round.
Oh, okay.
You understand? We must finish first place, not second or third.
Well, I hope so. We'll see. You know what? If we get Mason Greenwood, we'll be all right. Now we're about it. If Mason Greenwood now wants to come, we're all right, people.
Well, I would love for him to come, Richie. I tell you.
And if my boy, what name Hayden, decide to come play some CDM and play some national football, that's making it even better. No.
Reece Nelson.
No, Isaac Aiden, who used to play for Newcastle.
What about Reece Nelson?
I don't think Reece is coming. I don't think Reece is coming anytime soon. I think Reece trying to find a football team, so Reece has to find a team first.
Yeah, right. They tried in and say, why should I come play for Jamaica? Just because my grandmother is from there.
And that's his prerogative, right? That's his prerogative.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
He's never been to Jamaica. Right? He's
never been to Jamaica.
No, I don't think Troy's ever been to Jamaica.
Reece
was out there the other day.
Yeah, but this is the thing with Burton and Fitzroy Simpson Paula. I think Paula was born in Jamaica. You know?
I don't know if Paul was born.
I think Paul was born in. I'm not sure. I think Paul was born in Miami when he was a baby. But Dean Burton said he used to come to Jamaica every summer. Come check his grandmother.
Yeah. Some players do that, but some players can't afford to do that, right? Some Dean Burton may have come. Antonio said he's come to Jamaica all the time. His mom took him until he was a certain age. But a lot of people who go to England can't afford to go to Jamaica on vacation. They don't. Not that they want to go. They can't afford to go. People don't seem to realize that. Or if they go, you're going to set them back a while so they don't go. I personally know this for some people. And it's not I'm speculating. I'm telling you, some people can't afford to go to Jamaica. They don't make enough money. They don't have enough money. They can't leave their job. Because anybody from England go to Jamaica for no 1 weekend or 2 weeks for no vacation. That ain't happening. You can go for 3 weeks or a month.
No, it's a place I used to fly to a lot. So, as you know, world traveler.
I hear you're a world traveler.
I used to fly to. My last tour I did was with Toots before he died in 2012. And we spent a lot of time in the UK. That was during the Olympics.
Okay.
So we went everywhere in the UK.
Right.
Scotland, Wales, Ireland, England, Northern Ireland. Okay, it's 2 islands, right? You have Republic of Ireland and you have the Northern Ireland.
Yep.
So I've been everywhere in the UK. So it was my first time still. Yeah. So.
All right, sir.
Next time I want to talk about this David Johnson, who cost us that World Cup in 2002.
No, we're not gonna beat nobody. We're not talking about
nobody.
We're not beating nobody, but no. Come up with a different topic. Come with a better one.
Man. That's a long time ago still. We can go past it, but we still a beating.
All right. Come with a better one. Think about it and come with one. If it's good enough, we'll talk about it. All right?
All right, cool, man.
Best world traveler. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Somebody was calling about it. You can call back. Hey, people, make up in the mind now. Owen said the man was born in Jamaica. Brian Burke said born in Jamaica. Well, I tell you, star. Make up in the mind. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I see you on the
CC. All right, so let me get up me something there.
My weekend Frankie, my mash up Frankie talk. I was telling me I do my YouTube thing, right? So what I do is like have a weekly prediction thing. I'm do weekly predictions, like a video.
Right.
So I pick 6 games. Now what I'm doing is just picking the top 7 because I gave predictions but I call it like way too early predictions because for me the dynamics of the Premier League is that the Premier League starts before the transfer window closes. So for me to come out and say this team is going to win the Premier League and then by the time August 31st, them sell 2 players, them acquire 2 players. So that's like, it's like the dynamic for me. I think me normally try to say, a pre-transfer window prediction and a post-transfer window prediction because at the end of the day, the league players, I think about 4 games before the transfer window closes. You correct me if I'm not. They play about 4 games before the window closes.
Okay.
And I think, for example, right now Liverpool hasn't signed anybody. So for me,
do they need anybody?
Yeah, man. Liverpool need that. To me, Liverpool need a midfielder. They need a central midfielder.
Okay.
They need
Endo and Gravenberg are not good enough. You're saying?
No, I'm not saying they're not good enough. But I'm saying.
So you need more than 2 6s.
They need an additional midfielder. You see the thing about it is, frankly, I think when it comes down to, remember say, I don't think Liverpool is playing right now to play for going at the top 4. Liverpool team is supposed to be going to try and win the league. So, for example, my team, Chelsea, we're not in a position right now to challenge for the title. So, I wouldn't really grade. Oh, me grade Chelsea, me grade Liverpool. I'm grading Liverpool, Arsenal, and City in the same way. All 3 teams to me should be challenging for the Premier League this season.
Right.
So, with that being said, the fact that Liverpool hasn't signed anyone as yet, Arsenal bringing a defender. I think Arsenal is bringing in a backup. What the guy named Molina? I don't know if they have gotten that players yet.
It should be done this week.
So I'm saying when Arsenal, for example, we have watched games, currently where Arsenal needs to inject something else. For example, that stretch when they had Fulham and West Ham, where they dropped points. Arsenal couldn't change nothing. Like they are going to the bench. The bench is just is like pure skeleton. So it's like they're not able to change what they're doing on the pitch. Because whenever they take off a player, the quality drops significantly. When they take off, they can't take off Odegaard. Odegaard has played 52 games this season. Yeah. So you have certain players, Declan Rice has played 52 games of the season. So for me, those are some of the things that are key in the title race. When for example, I think Foden came off the bench against Chelsea. Savino was starting. So if Savio even went to the bench, City will have a player like Savio can come off of the bench. When Savio come off the bench, that is quality coming off of the bench. So I think some of those things add to if you're going to challenge for the title. And I think that's where, when I look at the Premier League right now, as it stands, and I've seen Arsenal build a team that can challenge over a period of time. And I think this season, they should be looking to win in the Premier League. So I have them right now in my pre-transfer close as the team that is going to win the league. So we have Arsenal first, City second, Man U third.
Man U what?
Third.
You mean third what? Third what?
In the Premier League, top 4.
Oh, yeah, in the top 4. Which top 4?
Yeah. Premier League.
Oh, Man United, the one that in Manchester.
Yeah, man. Manchester United.
So you think you're going to come ahead of Tottenham, Chelsea, Liverpool?
Yeah, man. I feel like that.
Wow.
I feel like Liverpool right now, if I see Liverpool sign a central midfielder, a striker, and a defender, then we can probably look. Or even if a central midfielder and a defender, I can look at Liverpool and say, all right, I would switch them around. But right now, we have Liverpool fifth.
I think Liverpool, City, and Arsenal will be fighting for the title like they did last year. Liverpool fell off in the last number of games because Liverpool was leading at one point. People forgot that, you know. When Liverpool was leading before they think they lost that, who they'd lose to? Some game they shouldn't have lost.
But I'm showing you that Liverpool, and the thing about Liverpool is come back down to the squad again. The games that they were dropping and things. They had the same players playing right through. And I think even when Salah went and then Salah came back, Salah wasn't even the same Salah that left. It's like Salah left to go to Africa and never came back until he came back in the first game this season. So for me, when it come on to those things, I think the fact that they can say Liverpool challenging for the title, but what I've seen and the fact that they have a new coach coming in, even though sometimes you can have a new coach and you get further. I have Aston Villa to the shooting four.
Yeah, I think Villa. Look, Emery's a brilliant coach, so I think Aston Villa will always be around there someplace. Emery won too much Europa League. Take teams that don't have the best pedigree and profile and make something out of them. So one has to give him his credit. So yeah, no, I mean, I think we will be there along with City. I think Liverpool will be there. I don't know how does Man U get there though. I don't know.
The thing about it, you know, I think you can't 7 and a 4, and that's what's going on in the Premier League right now.
No, it's not 7. No. It's like 5 and 4.
I wouldn't say that. I'm saying it wouldn't be 5. So you have Chelsea. You have all right. Look at it. You have Chelsea. You have a 6 team that people always consider the big 6, and then you have Aston Villa, which is the anomaly.
Yeah. No, Villa be good again.
So that's why I'm saying that those 7 teams, to fit them into the top 4, a lot of persons will go for the traditional team. Man U, City, Arsenal. Not Man U. Liverpool, City, Arsenal for the first and third. The 4th place, I think some will say Tottenham, depending on who don't like Chelsea. Some will say Chelsea. Some will say Liverpool. So no, some will say Man U. But what I have seen so far, not even so we've seen, what I've given before, is that Chelsea for me right now, we are 6th at best, because I don't think we're moving from where we were last season unless we get a striker. Some people say they might not wait until what has happened at the end of the transfer window. But if Chelsea sign a striker now, if we sign a guy like Osimhen, if we get Osimhen, top 4. Now I tell you, if we get Osimhen, top 4. No matter what people are saying, I feel if we get Osimhen, it's top 4.
Well, you may get him actually, because you guys print money, you know. You have a money factory. You have a money factory. You just print the money. You don't have to go worry about no money. You just print it.
So we print it. No, I think we get Joe Felix as we pending the medical. Because I think Gallagher will spend some money just give them Gallagher and Joe Felix or Church coming. So right now, I think probably depending on Osimhen, if we get Osimhen, then we can look at it. People will say Chelsea are fast player. Why do they need an additional player and all of these things? So even in the first game, Cranky against City, I think Chelsea never, even though we're at home, I don't think we
acquitted. I would say we have never beat them for how they acquitted themselves. It's just that we have not been, as I said, clinical in front of the ball. When I think some of the build-up play is slow because they're just getting comfortable with actually playing out of the back and playing through the pressure. So I think the build-up play is slow, and I think a lot of the players are timid based on what they were doing in the preseason. But even when I looked at Tottenham has the ability through their playmakers like the Madison and you have Son and those guys. But as I said, weekend gone, I had City winning. No, I had Arsenal winning, I had Liverpool winning, I had Aston Villa winning. Aston Villa, Liverpool, Man U, Arsenal. I had those teams winning. I had Tottenham drawing, and I had City versus Chelsea, the drawing game. Unfortunately, Chelsea we score an offside goal, and plus we a penalty that I thought was a penalty, but obviously the rule changed, so it wasn't a penalty. So we end up losing 2-0 in that game. So as I say, when you look at everything, I think Leicester City will stay up in the league. And it's not based on just what I've seen. It's just that the points deduction thing might affect them nearly. But I think they should stay up in the league. I think Fulham, more than likely, are going to go down. I'm not saying Fulham have a firepower, they can score goals. If they can't score a goal, they can't stay in the league. You're not going to win no game and get enough points.
Well, you can say that about a bunch of teams. You can say that about Ipswich, you can say that about Everton, you can say that about Fulham. Now, Fulham has two forwards, actually. Muniz and what's his name from Mexico. Fulham has forwards. They played against a decent Man U team. But Fulham is not going to get relegated. Now, Fulham, they lose Paulino, which is a big loss, but they're buying. Who they're buying? They're trying to get what's his name from Man U? The Scottish player, the midfielder, McTominay. They're trying to buy him. They probably will eventually buy him. They'll be okay. It's going to be the same team that came up. We're going to struggle with Everton to figure out who goes down. Those four teams, I think Nottingham Forest will also do decent. I think it's the four teams, three teams, including the three teams that came up, including Everton, will struggle.
Yeah, no. I think Fulham, Southampton, and Ipswich are going to go down.
Fulham not going anywhere.
But as I say, you're right, we say they're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
I think Leicester will stay. I think Leicester is going to stay.
I wasn't impressed by Leicester today, by the way. Spurs should have them about 5-9 first half. Spurs gave away that game. That's what happened when you let people, when you play and play and play and you don't put them anywhere. Look what Liverpool did with Ipswich. Tied first half, and then it just waxed them second half. Spurs had the whole game first half, should have scored how many goals? Even the last kick of the game, or second to last kick of the game, where Richarlison had a header. If he let the ball drop and no head it, probably go in the goal. He saved the goal by heading it out.
It's very hard for me to say. It's very hard to say it's very difficult for me to look for Everton and say I'm
okay.
It's like you say, oh, them in authority. It's very what cranky. On the basis of like the transfer thing, I think that's playing it as I said still with the clubs paying. I think they're trying to get a vote for it, for the clubs to not pay the way the agency anymore. But I'm wondering if the reason why they do it like that, and the reason why football or soccer end up that way, and NBA and NFL and those teams are not ended up the same way, because you have NBA, you only have one NBA, you have one NFL, you have like these leagues are set leagues, as opposed to when you have like multiple leagues. Football is so diverse and it is playing all over the globe.
No, CC, no, I got nothing to do with it. CC, if I employ you, I pay you. That's how life works. I can't employ you and then say the club should pay you when I get a transfer. That's nonsense. If I employ you, I pay you. That's why I employ you. You can't employ the agent and tell the club they should pay for you when you have transfers. I don't know who come up with this construct in Europe, but European labor laws and how they work are different. And they always have some court of arbitration overturning stuff based on just like Man City now.
But you know the player pays the tax.
No, the player pay tax on their wages, not paying tax on what the agents make.
The
money's not going to the player. The player
pays the tax on the fee that the agent gets from the club.
I don't know about that. How would that make sense? That doesn't make any sense.
because it's a benefit to the player.
No. I have to go look that up. I haven't checked that, but that doesn't make sense. No. The money, no. Nobody pays tax on something that they don't get. There's no benefit. There's no benefit to the player. The player, CC, come on, CC. That's not even constructive receipt. You can't tell me you're gonna pay my agent $10 and I pay tax on it. That makes no sense. That would be ludicrous. Come on, CC. Go look that up again and come back. I haven't checked it out, but come on, CC. That's illogical.
To be honest, I don't think it makes sense.
That's you're missing something in the whole equation. You're missing something. Go back and check. People in life, people, you don't pay tax on something you don't receive. Don't make sense. Come on, CC. You know better. You're accountant. You know better than that.
No, I know, because remember, like, for example, if you get a vehicle from the company, you pay tax on it because you get the benefit of the vehicle.
Yes, because you're using the vehicle.
So I understand you're using the vehicle.
Yes, you're going to come up with how much a vehicle would be, how much a price. You come with a price. And yes, that makes sense because you're getting a benefit. Yes, but what's the benefit you're getting from the agent getting the money? You're not using the money. The agent's using the money. That doesn't make any sense. You're using the vehicle. Like you get a vehicle, you get a house. Yes, in the US, it's the same way. I'm sure in other countries the same way, whereby if you get benefit from a company, so they give you a private jet, for example, there's some criteria they have around that. You get company car. Yes, you got to work through it. Sometimes the company have to do what's called tax equalization. They'll make it enough so they have to pay the tax for it while you're getting the benefit, right? So they'll compensate you enough, almost like double. So the tax equalization would allow you to get the money, but get the benefit, but also they can pay the taxes for you. And they do it when people go overseas to work for companies. But no, nobody's going to... Come on, CC, man. Send me the information on that, CC, because that doesn't make no sense to me.
I'm not sure
the player's getting no benefit from that. The only person getting the benefit is the agent in that instance, if they get the fee. Now, if you told me the player get a portion of the money, then they have to pay tax on it. And by the way, tax in the UK is a lot of taxes. I think if you make over 149,000, you pay about 45% in taxes. So it's a lot of money paying taxes.
No, all right. I'm gonna tell you, it's not necessary. All right, put it like this, Cranky. I think, but I'm not sure it's still not. Put it like this: is the agent negotiates the contract in such a way where the club pays the agent on behalf of the player, then the player pay the tax on that.
The club pay the agent on. I don't even know what that means.
All right, so I'm saying the agent negotiates the contract, right?
Yeah.
And it negotiates that the player is getting 2 million. And says he gets 5%, 100,000. And you're saying that the club, they negotiate the contract in a way where the club is paying him 2.1 million. The club pays 2.1 million. But it's like you pay 100,000 to the player, the agent, and then you pay 2 million to the player. That is in salary, because the agency is based on the salary that the player is getting, and not necessarily based on the transfer that they transfer to. So it's based on
I'll have to. I'm not sure I totally follow you actually on this, but I'll have to do some research and see. No, I'm not even going to research that. There's no way. Well, I probably shouldn't say that because in Europe, the teams pay the player doesn't pay the agent, so I shouldn't say that, which makes no sense to me either. People, the club pays the player doing pay the agent doing the transfer.
No, what I was
saying, benefit.
All right, let me tell you what I was saying, because I told you, the club can pay the agent and the player doesn't pay any tax on it. But I'm saying that if it is in his contract, if it is in the player's contract where the player is required to pay the transfer fee, pay the agent fee, the way in which they negotiate the contract, the club pays it.
No, that would never happen though. Why would a player want to pay a transfer fee based on his salary to his agent? No. The player should have a agreement with the agent, instead of doing the US, where I pay a percentage of whatever the fee the agent may negotiate on my behalf that I'm going to make in compensation to the agent. In Europe, what I see a lot of time happening is the player is transferred from club A to club B. A transfer fee is paid by the acquiring club. They also then pay the agent for that player who's being transferred, which to me makes no sense because the player is the one who contracts the agent. Whatever salary they get from the acquiring club, they should pay a portion of that salary to their agent. Which makes no sense the way it's constructed in Europe. Doesn't make sense.
Which is fine, but I think it has to do with even if the representation contract states that the player pays his agent. Means say your contract, the representation contract that Cranky signed with CC, for CC being his agent, says that Cranky should pay CC. However, when Cranky is signed into Arsenal, CC negotiates away where Arsenal pays him, and then Cranky pays the tax on that. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying.
Now I'm saying the representation contract, the agent's contract might state that the player must pay the agent.
Pay the agent what? No, pay the agent based on what?
Pay the agent's commission. Pay the agent's commission based on.
That's not how you do it in Europe. No. That's
why
people. The way it would normally would work is this. So, because it's not about the transfer fee for the player, it's about how much they get paid. So the way it should work is that if Raheem Sterling has a contract with Chelsea for 5 years, he makes $350,000 a week, which works out to be about $70,500,000, I guess, per year. He would get like 5% of that number, right? And it may be 5% of the total contractual value, which would be 17 times 5 is what, 85, 5 plus 25, whatever the number is. So you get 5% of 85 million, whatever it is. And they may bring that number down because 85 million is a lot of money. So they may make it 4% of that number. So 4% of 85 million, but what, 3,400,000, what the number is?
Remember,
they would get that number. That's what number they would get.
Transfer fee, I'm not talking about
I know. What are you talking about?
All right. So when the player signs, the $100 million is the transfer fee. Right? It's $100 million transfer fee. Arsenal from Inter Milan. So Arsenal play Inter Milan $100 million. That the club get the transfer fee. We're not talking about that, but the player now they're saying Arsenal signs the player to a 5-year contract. For the 5 year, they must have pay the player 15 million. So they're saying they're paying the player 15 million for the 5 year. I'm saying the percentage. So the agent is getting 5% of that 15 million that they're paying.
But that's how it's done in the US. That's how it's done in Europe. That's how it's done in the US. That's how it's done in Europe. It's a different construct.
So that's what I'm saying. In Europe, the 15 million that they're signing, the salary, the $15 million salary that they're going to pay, they're paying a percentage of that to the agent.
In the US, but not in Europe.
You're saying in Europe, they're not paying a percentage of the
My
salary.
understanding is that in Europe, when they have transfers, now I don't know what the arrangement is between the player and his agent, right? So there'd be two separate arrangements. There could be an arrangement where I employ an agent, I pay the agent a certain amount because they're under my employment, right? Okay. Let's give a good example, for example. Let's use real example people understand. Let's say the Phoenix boss, Bailey's his client, right? I'm sure Bailey paid him a certain money for that representing him. If Bailey was to leave from Aston Villa to go to Arsenal, for example, and it costs $100 million to go to Arsenal, he will get a transfer fee from Arsenal, not from Bailey. That's how it works. Because we're using the transfer fee a lot. Like, people don't move all the time. So how does an agent get paid when they don't move? I'm sure there's some arrangement where the agent is get compensated. But a lot of time the agent gets a lot of money when players move. That's why agents are always advocating for players to move, because they get money. That's why sometimes players shouldn't listen to the agent, because they want you to move so they can get paid. Sometimes it's the only way they get paid for some of them. That's why players are always going to be moving a lot in Europe, because that's how agents make their money. People don't seem to realize this. They're going to advocate. In the US, it's different. In the US, you ain't get no money when players move. Unless the player can work. You get money when the player sign a contract or when they renew their contract. That's a big difference between Europe and the US. It's more transactional in Europe in terms of player moving and transfers. While in the US, you know what? You're going to pay me a portion of how much you make. That's why you see some players in the US represent themselves. So Jackson, who plays for Baltimore, the quarterback, he represents himself. Him and his mother will represent him. In Europe, for example, what's his name from Juventus? His mom is his agent, right? Plays for France. Rabiot's mom is his agent. So any money, the transfer money that comes in, stays in the family, but Mason also sometimes they have lawyers who work with them. So they're not the agent, but they have their lawyers who work with them, right? But in the US, it's a different situation. Europe is different.
All right. So the thing about it is, the thing about it is not cranky. We can because, for example, the Paul Pogba case. Because we understand what you're saying, but it's like I was talking about a different aspect of it. The transfer fee the agreement that they signed with Mino Raiola, that's Juventus. They had paid what 1.5 million for Pogba, and I think they were selling when they're selling Pogba. I think they said that they would have paid like 50% or something like that in terms of over to Mino Raiola. So when they got Pogba was sold for like 94 million or something like that, 89 million. Mino Raiola got 41 million, so around $40 million after the Pogba sale, because Juventus paid Mino Raiola a portion of that transfer fee.
Right. So here's why this works the way it does. As I'm saying, players gotta be very careful about the agent. So if I want to move, so suppose I ain't no intention to move. If I'm Saliba and Real Madrid want me, my agent will be the one who wants. I may not want to move as Saliba, but my agent want me to move because I'm gonna make money off it. So they will come up with they'll work out with Real Madrid how much they're gonna get compensated if they're gonna move and how much they're gonna pay. Right? So they could charge. You're right, Miola. A lot of those agents get exorbitant transfer fees. They had a list of those transfer fees they published. It was amazing how much the big clubs pay for transfer fees. Ridiculous numbers. And it was all going to the agent's pocket. That's why people like Simon Jordan are always hitting against agents and saying that players should pay the agent. That's why Simon Jordan is always saying that. Players employ the agent, they should pay the agent. But agent makes money, most of their money doing transfers. That's why players move so much in Europe. A lot of times it's not to do with nothing with player. If the agent want to move, agent push the player to get the move. The player will get some of that transfer fee sometime because the agent may give them a kickback. Who knows how that works? But the agent want to move. And the player's going to get more money when they move. So if, like Tony, for example, if he moves now, there's a transfer fee paid to this agent and he's going to get a higher salary. That's why some players advocate for move because they get more money next team.
Yeah, I think the Mino Raiola thing kind of stirred up a big thing for people still. Juventus paid him, I think, 22 mil. Something they paid him. Manu paid him 16 mil. And Pogba paid him. They got paid from Juventus. They got paid from Manu. Plus they got paid from Pogba. For the transfer of Pogba from Juventus to Manchester United. You see how that works on Cranky? You get paid.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people.
Manchester United and Pogba, you know.
The agents, some of those agents are just unscrupulous.
Yeah. They're bathing.
Yeah.
They're
They make
bathing.
a lot of money. Anyway, people, I have to finish the program because it passed my bedtime. No, I'm sorry. Past my dinner time.
The one thing I'm going to say, the final thing I'm going to say, is this. I think when I speak, because I speak on like player and saying that if you have players who born in Jamaica, players who born in anywhere in the world, I think they're coming from the same roots. The heritage to me has a lot to do with it. And I will just reference this example. In the 100-meter finals of the Olympics, for the past 44 years, only one person of non-African heritage has made the final. That's the Chinese guy that named Su Bingtang. Of the last 44 years. That's
not true.
I'm telling you.
Then what's his name from Russia win the 1980 Olympics? No, that can't be true. Who won in 1980 Olympics 100-meter final for men?
Miss Cranky.
No. Answer the question. No. CC, answer the question. Don't say Cranky. Answer the question. Who won the 1980 Olympic final for men? Wasn't it a Russian?
19. But I have to check about that. But I'm telling you, what I tell you is not me and make it up.
Because 76 was who? Hazy Crawford. I think 80 was a Russian. 84 was Carl Lewis. Check. 88 was Ben Johnson. Then Carl Lewis got it because Ben took drugs. Check 1980. Isn't that Boris? What's his name? I'm almost sure it was a Russian who won it. But check. I don't remember, but check.
I said last 44.
1944, so 44 is 1980, right? Yeah, I think 44 is 80.
All right. Remember saying your account. I can't get it easy.
No, but don't check who won work. Who won the underneath? Who won? It wasn't a Russian who won it?
Alan Wells, no.
Alan Wells from Wales. Does he have black in his background? Alan Wells, it probably was Alan Wells who won in 1980. Okay, fine.
No, man, I'm saying to you, remember, I'm counting. I'm counting.
He said 44 years, that's 1980. I know it was either a Russian or Alan Wells comes to mind, actually, from Wales. Alan Wells was he from Wales? Where was he from?
Why a lot of these people come was xenophobic? You know, I understand.
Was Alan Wells from Wales? Where's Alan Wells from? I thought he was from Wales.
Yeah, man, I'm from Wales.
Okay.
So now, let me ask you this: if you want to take out 1980, what may I ask you this? They want to put out 1988, 84, 88, 92.
Okay, so 96. Yes, so 84, 88, yes. If you go from there,
84,
it was
88,
92 was that Christie, and 96 was Bailey.
Yeah, but I'm not just saying winning.
And 2000 was Green, 204 was
from 84
yeah, go ahead.
To 20, from 84 to 2024.
Yeah.
Nobody outside of Africa. Only one person
yes.
non-African heritage has made the final.
Oh, made the final.
Even the Italian guy, as the Italian guy has African heritage.
Yes, he has African heritage. Jacobs have African heritage. Yes, he does.
So I'm saying when that being said, it shows in terms of sprinting and the African heritage behind. When I look at sprinters over that period of time, and you're saying that a lot of these sprinters, it has something to do with genetics. So my argument was that if a player is born in Jamaica, a player is born in England, a player is born in the US, the difference that player has is the resource around the player and who is developing the player. It's not necessarily that the player is born here or the player is born there. It's not where the player is born, but the resources to which the player is born to, and who is developing the player. Because if you don't have the requisite resources, coaches, facilities, all those things, you're not going to get 50 professional players. You might get one in every decade, or you might get 5 over a decade or so, but you're not going to get a lot. You understand what I'm saying, Frankie? You're not going to get a lot, or you're not going to produce them in the way in which you want to produce them. You have 23 players. They're playing for a team that is professional players.
Yeah, there's a lot. Look, that needs much more investigation to draw those conclusions. I hear a lot because people don't even think about nutrition as part of that whole construct, right? What do you eat, for example? So we gotta be very careful when we just specify what are the ingredients that inform the person's athleticism. Because I hear a lot of people in Jamaica who are supposed to be informed talk about, oh, we're fast and we're this in the Caribbean. So all we need all this in the football, we need this. I mean, I see where we play football against anybody. We have nobody who fast and I run past people. I see how the genetics in the football for us in Jamaica differentiated from any other we play against. Even the Mexican run faster than we sometimes. Jump higher than we sometimes. So me confused when the people in Jamaica who are supposed to be informed and in senior position make these comments, me have to laugh sometimes. Because we treat football like football like tracks. We treat football like football like track and field and track and field.
We treat it like a track. Well, that's what I'm. All right. Well, what I say is, what I say to you is Frankie. John Barnes born in Jamaica, leave when he was 12. John Barnes went to be a Liverpool legend.
All right.
Raheem Sterling born in Jamaica, left when he was about 7. Some people may not know him argue Raheem Sterling is a Premier League legend already. Whether that some people like it or not, he's a Premier League legend. Play for City, play for Chelsea, play for Liverpool. When I look at Leon Bailey born in Jamaica, went into Europe when he was around 15, go through Europe, go through the little things there, get in the education in Europe, he's at Aston Villa, play for Bayer Leverkusen. All of these players, what do they have in common? They have left early at a young stage, some younger than some, Raheem Sterling being the youngest, John Barnes being a little bit older, and then Leon Bailey being the oldest of the 3 that I have mentioned. All of them went into Europe at a young, tender age and got development through Europe. And look, their careers reached certain peaks. Aston Villa, Leon Bailey.
So you're saying legend. Jamaica has produced no world-class footballer ever from the shores of Jamaica, locally born, who was groomed in Jamaica and developed in Jamaica. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying. We have not done it. We have to groom in the country because we don't have
that's a damning thing for the Jamaica coaching fraternity.
Yeah, we have not.
What you're saying is Jamaica has never produced in its history for all these great coaches in Jamaica and all these xenophobes in Jamaica. They've never produced a world-class footballer in the history of Jamaica. We're talking about years.
Unless you're counting Bibi to say, oh, they produced.
Bibi was very good, but Bibi was world-class.
That's
Bibi was very good. By the way, Bibi was very, very good, by the way. And he left at 7, and he was identified during the World Cup, right? 17.
Yeah. He left older than that, man. I think he left when he was about 19.
People, let me say people, we just said world-class, you know. We're not saying very good footballer.
But that's your show.
We said world-class people. Stop confusing world-class with good. Stop confusing world-class with good. Put out a name them. People. Wait. They give me all these names. Wait, give me goodness. People. Did we just say world-class people? What wrong with them people? We said world-class. Wait. Everybody a world-class footballer now? Come on, I'll call my honest, man. No embarrassment. Come on, world traveler, man. Come on, man. We said world class. We didn't say very good footballer. Fuller was a very good footballer.
You know what it tells me?
They're not world class.
I tell people this, and this is when we are going to leave the program. They say, the program, it tells me that if we take these U17s and U20s serious and produce players up to the point where, for example, if a player is a U17 team at 15 and he can get the opportunity to leave. So if we are exporting players from U17 World Cup stage into Europe or into these more facilities where they can get access to better coaching facilities, all of these things, I think we will have more players on the cusp of being world class than we have before. And the fact that we have not gone to many U17 World Cup, I think that is the reason why we're not churning out a certain amount of players. Because these 3 players that I've said at the age group that they were at, Leon Bailey, for example, would have been was at an under 17 age group. So when he went into Europe. So it shows me that if you're at an under 17 age group and go to Europe, you can develop into a player that can be at world class level.
CC, we shouldn't use aberration as a norm.
No, it's not. You say aberration as a norm,
Well, you're saying you point out one player ever and then say that player.
No, I said I'll use Leon Bailey.
No, I know you use, but Raheem and to me, John Barnes a little bit different than Leon, right? They went to Europe. I think John went when? Was it like 12? Leon, I mean,
I said John went as 12.
Right, so that's much younger. Leon went a little bit older, right? So you can say Leon was a special case where somebody in Jamaica who is godlike in Jamaica developed the player and should be commended for it, right? But I wouldn't use that. Now, somebody mentioned, Max mentioned Khadijah Shah. He's right. So she's probably the only world-class player produced out of Jamaica. And it's on the women's side. It's not on the men's side.
So what the other guy named Cranky that left Jamaica is in the 7th? Long time. What's his name?
Who went to
the first player we have at Premier League. The first player we have at Premier League.
First player Premier League? When? You mean English League or? Go ahead.
Before it become English Premier League, man. When it was the big.
The first ever player I know from Jamaica who played first division was Lindy Delapena. Lindy Delapena. Yeah.
What age Lindy Delapena went?
I don't know actually.
Don't know.
But Lindy was the first person I know that played at first division. Was at Newcastle in Jamaica for years, yeah.
But this is the next thing that I'm saying. If it happened from Lindy Delapena, it will show me say if the players them go over there from young age, them can be far better than they are.
No, that's not what it's showing. That's not what it's showing me. It's showing me that we need better coaches in Jamaica.
All right.
Because there are a lot of African players who don't have the same facilities, who are world class. They have African players don't have the same facilities, who become very good players or even world class players. What it shows me is that we need better coaches in Jamaica.
But then remember, they have the African thing. I
know African have academy sometime and that, but you have players even from South America who come through very difficult circumstances and they still do really well. Some of them are poorer than Jamaica's situation. Economically a challenge, and they still go through. Jamaica need better coaches. It's not only for they need better. Jamaica needs better coaches. That Jamaica need better coaches.
Yeah, we need better coaches.
Let's start talking. We keep talking about facility. We need better coaches.
No, man, we don't necessarily at our facility alone, but South America thing too. Frankly, South America have like a history.
But we act like everybody come from Brazil and South America that play football. Argentina.
No, man.
Brazilian players come from. Look at Uruguay, for example. As a country produce same population as Jamaica, produce players year after year after year. Why can't we be a Uruguay?
From 1920s and them.
I know, but we keep saying that, but we've been doing this for a long time now. We keep talking about people. Uruguay won the first 2 World Cup, whatever it is. We've been doing this for a long time now. We got to stop making excuses. And you know what, people? I'm gonna cut this off because I think I've over my time. But let me say this: we're gonna talk about the Gleaner thing tomorrow, because it touched upon some of these things with developing Jamaica football and why it's not being developed and why the JFF is whatever it is. But we get into the letter tomorrow and go through it in detail. So CC, I'll close it down, CC.
Yeah, man.
Because we know say, if you close it down, you're not leave till tomorrow, man.
We leave, man. But we need better coaches, man. We need better coaches. But my thing is that the raw material is already near currently. I will see it in a lot of other players. The problem is that
I don't know what raw material you talk about. I don't know one. Hey, people, tomorrow. People. Tomorrow, people. Let me tell you something, people. We'll talk about this tomorrow because nothing on Jamaica talk about have raw material. Like a uncooked food or something. I don't know what I talk about.
Yeah, man. We'll talk about it tomorrow. The raw
people.
material is here. The raw material is here.
So I keep saying, but the raw material, you know, some people, when you have raw material and say the raw material is of quality, at some point, no matter how bad the coaching is, the raw material will translate into something exceptional. We now see that. So we'll talk about it tomorrow. I don't know what Jamaica don't love talk about that now.
I don't believe so, you know, Frank. You have to look for culture and a lot of things affect them. When in that the thing
material well raw will never get cultured. The material too raw for me. Too raw. Material too raw for me. All right.
Tomorrow we take it on.
All right, CC. Thanks a lot. People, first of all, thanks CC for the call. Appreciate it. First of all, people, I want to thank everyone for being here. I ran over by 35 minutes because, you know, saying CC at top. I'm surprised. Make it before 9 o'clock. First of all, people, thanks everyone for hitting the like button while you're here. I appreciate you being here. We're going to be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow's main topic, I mean, understand. If we put up JFF tomorrow, I bet the thing full up. If you put up, if you put up JFF, put up Reggae Boys, the whole chat full up. But if you put up something different like EPL update, people like, I don't hear about that. So I'm going to change my program because I'm just to expand on the horizon. I'm just like for the same thing over and over again. Me watch YouTube channel, me say people, you know, if you put say, what if 5 things McClaren should do today, and what if 4 things McClaren should do tomorrow? What if 3 things McClaren should do? How should McClaren set up his team? Should McClaren walk and run? Should McClaren look up in the air and float the stream? That's understand, you know? Should McClaren brushing teeth? So this is McClaren, but if you put anything else, people then now come on your stream star. Me find that funny. I study it, you know, people. I study it, you know. I study it, I start laugh. Because I see him thinking over. He put up anything about Reggae Boys this, McClaren this, and it's chat full up. But that's a mistake. I mean, if I expand my horizon, I can't talk about the same realness thing 24/7. My head hurt me. So I can't do that. Me hear somebody talk today about, you know what, I'm not going to talk about it now. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I watch a YouTuber today and I'm talk about something. I'm not like call out YouTuber now. I'm not call them up by name. We should talk about generally some things I mean them talk about because it ties into the letter, I see. I mean, I feel laugh. I know I see him called R&R, but somebody have to leave the corner in RR. You can't find this corner talk about the same thing every day. You're going to get bored. Hey, see, Jamaica, there's some people me know, you know. You go on the corner from 1980 on the corner. You go 1990 on the corner. You go 2000 on the corner. You go 2014 on the corner. 2024 on the same corner do the same thing. I say, oh, you do my youth. Let's have a thing now. And I say, you know, leave the corner, my dude. You live on the corner 40, 30, 40 years and still live on the same corner. You can't leave the corner. What's wrong with the corner? You hitch up the corner. At some point, you have to make a pivot. You can't do the same thing 24/7. Now, they may have a better life than I do, you know, because they must enjoy life up on the corner so long. But I mean, they try to explore different things and it now work. So you go. Yeah, them love the JFF beating. I don't like beat the JFF, but we'll talk about them tomorrow. I'll beat the Gleaner tomorrow too. Because Gleaner, look over, me beating tomorrow. Yeah, right foot. Hey, float management. I know some YouTuber doing float management. I mean, for laugh sometime, you know. Me now put up no thumbnail me can't justify it. Me now put up no your thumbnail me can't justify it. If me can't justify it and it's not relevant, me now put it up. Can't so that. I feel like why may I do a disservice? Me not telling a lie. But me understand the need to draw attention because it's not only Jamaican YouTubers who do it. Even in politics, me some on YouTube, the men say, oh, Camilla destroys Trump. And you just like, stop. And these are YouTubers who have 2 million followers and people, or 6 million followers, and put up some thumbnail just saying, why are some people so disingenuous? That's why people don't watch some of you guys, or they hate some of you guys. You put up things that not go so. Right? You put up things, thumbnail to attract attention. And yes, the thumbnail need to draw attention. We all agree with that. But at least make it something that's believable and relevant, and it's not misleading. That's part of my problem. But anyway, people, thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place, doing a different topic from the one I did today, which is not about EPL update, because that's gone. I'm going to do something. I know what something is going to be, but it's going to be us talking to the editorial from the Gleaner. That's the leading story. I may do something else in addition to that, but that's the leading story. Is that editorial and talking about McClaren, the mandate, and something, you know, people, a friend of mine told me this. Don't put away your talk about because people are trying to front run you. Because people do that to me now, you know. You know, so me put up some topic, and by the way, me go up instead of people that talk about the same topic the day before me start my program. It's their prerogative, but I think you should go create your own material. That's all I have to say. But it's interesting, actually. Because we all watch each other, but I always try to think about things which should be of interest, or I want to be an interest, and try to influence, and something you can't influence. Because maybe just like it up on the corner. So, but yeah, CC, I appreciate being here. Max, CC, all the YouTubers are here. I appreciate you guys being here. Float, Drew Ross all the time, World Traveler, World Beta. Bless up. All right, everyone. Please join me tomorrow. Same time, same place. We're going to expand our horizon. And see you then. Bye. Frankie Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk, and it's free, yo. Frankie Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Frankie Life, tell them. Frankie Life, heed them. Frankie Life, want them. Frankie Life. From the coast to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Life, get to know the name because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Life, give me my Cranky Life. I want my Cranky Life. Must have my Cranky Life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat, and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. Want them, Cranky Life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Life. Tune into Cranky Life. Like up Cranky Life. Subscribe to Cranky Life. Cranky Life coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Life sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Life. Me say fi tell them Cranky Life. Me say fi heed them Cranky Life. On them Cranky Life. Cranky Life will be around. Cranky Life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Cranky. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Heed. Want. Heed. Want. Heed them.